If you've ever blinked and the weekend was over, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. If that happened to you, I got good news because we have a truncated week this week as the market is closed for Good Friday on Friday. 4-day week coming up here. We'll have some time to re-enjoy the weekend, a little bit of extended time too. So should be fun. Hope wherever you are, you got good weather. And if you're into college basketball, I got to think that this weekend was super exciting for you because boy, oh boy, was that fun. Now, as we get down to brass tacks here on a Monday, we've got stuff to cover. We've got some news to cover. We got a market that's trading up in the pre-market, which seems befuddling to some people. We're going to cover it all. We're going to get you ready for the day. We're going to run down some news. We're going to do some trading, and we're going to get the week started off correctly here on Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be the Monday edition for March 30th, 2026. And Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. I know I did. And we're back here for a truncated week. We're going to have to get through it. We're going to go ahead and do all of that. Start off with some greetings here on a Monday. Billy is first here today. Our resident chat room scanner is out here pumping ideas even before we start. This is absolutely the place to be, and I love it. Billy, good morning. Welcome back. MU, 4-hour down channel, maybe breaking. Well, the market's trading up here, and we'll see if this can hold, right? We've a lot of these pops, however much it pops, they end up getting sold. So we'll see if that's the case again here today. Brent, good morning. Big Hurt, welcome back. Good to see you. Corey, good morning. Good to have you back, buddy. Hope your weekend was good and relaxing. Big Dave, good morning. Welcome back. It's good to see you, of course. Peter, welcome back. Peter reminding us only 4 days this week. I actually kind of like it when we start off on a Monday. Just get it over with, right? Just get out there, get it over with, and then we'll have the 3-day weekend at the tail end of the week. We'll see how it goes. Producers locked in and ready to go. Got the coffee flowing. We appreciate that. Kenzo, good morning. Welcome back. Zach, good morning to the Benzi gang. Indeed, that includes you, Zach. Good morning and welcome back. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Welcome back. Boy, Brent going popping off here. Whisk, good morning. Welcome back. Jane, good morning. It's good to see you. Fake Beat AI, interesting name. Good morning. Welcome. Cad Monkey, good to see you again. Welcome back. Patchi, good afternoon from Belgium. Welcome back, Patchi. I hope the weather over in Belgium is excellent. It's starting to really be spring here. Golf courses are open, including the one across the street from my house, which is really good. Jim, good morning. Welcome back. Yes, that girl. Good morning. Welcome back. Happy Monday indeed. Hope you had a good weekend. Ezra, good morning. Welcome back. Best Life. Welcome back. Good to see you, Best Life. Hopefully all is well in your corner of the universe. Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Jay Harris, good morning. Welcome back. Linda, it's great to see you as always. Reaching financial freedom. Good morning. One step closer to your namesake here today, buddy. Neville, good morning. It's great to see you again. Chuck, good morning. Welcome back. Hopefully you're doing well. Dirkus, it's always good to see you. Good morning, Ryan, and happy Monday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Indeed, I did. Hopefully you did as well. We're back here for another week. Tyler, good morning. Welcome back. Cam, good morning. Welcome back. View streaming pumper on Twitch. We're going to go positive attitude only today. Good morning. Maverick, good morning. Welcome back. G-Cord, good morning. Welcome back. Astro Kev, good morning. Welcome back. Marionette, it's great to see you. Good evening to you over in Asia. Welcome. Hopefully hopefully you are doing okay. The Noob, good morning. How much Chipotle did you have this week? Just got to know. Kelly, good morning. Welcome back. Robot to Trade, good morning. Welcome back. Ed, good morning. Welcome back. Ed reminding us all to pump it up and hit the like. Get that positive attitude going. Hit those likes early. Help us exploit that algorithm for no charge at all. We absolutely appreciate that. Robert, good morning. Welcome back. Bob, good morning. Welcome back. Bob's already green. Indeed, we are green in the pre-market. The portfolio is green. I know it's early, but it's a good start. Hard to deny that. Seahorse Trading, good morning. Welcome back. Work Life, good morning. Welcome back. Work Life says, crazy week ahead, I think. And you know what? You might be correct. I don't just want to say that we're going to have a light week because it's truncated and the Good Friday and the Easter holiday. I don't want to make any assumptions here. Shorter week, the same amount to do in less amount of time to do it. Headlines are still going to drive everything. So you're very correct. Could be a crazy week. We'll see how it shakes out. We're going to be prepared no matter what, though, right? That's the way to do it. JD, good morning. Welcome back. Brandy, good morning. Welcome back. It's good to see you as always. Edward, good morning. Welcome back. Candy, good morning. Welcome back. And Lost Penny says, good morning. I can't wait for lunch. Yeah, it's going to be one of those days. Let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, green arrows ahead of Monday's open here. S&P futures up 0.59%, the Dow futures up 0.61%, and the NASDAQ up by 0.56%. Now, let's take a look at some cues from last session here. There we go. Consumer staples and energy stocks bucked the trend to close higher on Friday, even as most S&P 500 sectors, led by sharp declines in financials, consumer discretionary, and communication services, ended in the red. U.S. stock futures rose on Monday, Friday, following that sharp Friday sell-off. The S&P 500 marked a fifth straight weekly loss with a 2.1% drop, while the NASDAQ slid over 3.2% for the week. Dow Jones retreated by 0.9%. Futures on the major benchmark indices were higher after they entered correction territory last week, falling more than 10% below their 52-week highs. The markets head into the truncated trading week with Good Friday on April 3rd. However, investors will watch out for March's employment report, as it's not a federal holiday, but just a market holiday. So we're still going to get data despite the market being closed. Meanwhile, over the weekend, President Trump suggested that the U.S. could seize Iran's oil infrastructure, including the key export hub Karg Island. He said his, quote, favorite thing, end quote, would be to, quote, take the oil in Iran, end quote, while adding that the U.S. has a lot of options. Trump also characterized Iran's new leaders as, quote, very reasonable, end quote, indicating a possible agreement between the two countries. Now, that's likely why we're seeing some green arrows here, but as we've seen before, these headlines change fast. And as the group is kind of covering here today, we're not out of the woods just yet. So let's be careful and be nimble here today. 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.39%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.89%. The CME Group's Fed Watch Tools projections show the markets are pricing in a 96.4% likelihood of the Federal Reserve leaving the current interest rates unchanged in the April meeting. Now, we've got several stocks in focus here for you today. And the first one is going to be Palantir, ticker's PLTR. It rose 0.66% after it announced the renewal and expansion of its longstanding partnership with Stellantis, ticker STLA. The new 5-year agreement continues a collaboration that began in 2016. The next stock on our list is going to be Resolve AI. This is ticker RZLV, and it jumped 12.42% after raising its revenue outlook, targeting $350 million in annual revenue and $500 million in annual recurring revenue by 2026, after acquiring Reward Loyalty for $230 million. The next stock on our list is Entera Bio, and the ticker on this one is ENTX. It dropped 8.85% after it posted a loss of 6 cents per share for the fourth quarter. The next stock on our list, an energy company that we've looked at several times, is going to be Total Energy. The ticker is TTE. It rose 2.01% after it signed a long-term partnership agreement with EDF Group to secure low-carbon electricity supply for Total Energy's refining and chemical sites in France. The last stock on our list is going to be Progress Software. The ticker is PRGS, and it was up 0.04% as analysts expect it to post quarterly earnings of $157 per share on revenue of $246.4 million after the closing bell today. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some. Oh, actually, cut, producer. Look, folks, it's Monday, and I'm already excited. I don't know what to tell you. I just jumped right over the cut. The producer's probably like, what the hell's this guy doing? What on earth is going on here? Let's take a look at the SPY chart, of course. Let's get you ready for where we might go here today. Remember, first things first, we're talking about a 10% pullback from the all-time highs on SPY equates to just about 628 on the SPY. Here in the pre-market, even with the green arrows that we're seeing here today after the steep sell-off that we saw last week, we're currently sitting at 638.31. Now, this is definitely below the 200-day, substantially below the 200-day. And we're also below the support line that we had on the bottom end of the broadening descending wedge that we identified from the 4-hour chart. So we continue to move down here. Again, I'm really kind of targeting that 10%, really 10 to 14% would be about 628 to 600. That would make a lot of sense here. Just kind of looking at the chart, another area where we might find some support kind of near term to today, 634. Maybe this was a previous low that we ended up holding. And then I think it's probably all signs green, or all arrows green, or all streets light green, leading to that 10% level. I really think at this point, given the pullback here, we definitely want to see that level get tested. As I was saying with Anne-Marie at the end of last week, one of the things that I would really like to see here, kind of in a waiting pattern, but one of the things that I would really like to see here is a capitulatory move down to that level. Where more and more people sell. I'd feel better about deploying cash with a longer term time horizon for a possible move back up. If we did have kind of that, oh crap, what's going on moment where we kind of just sell off precipitously. This has actually felt fairly orderly on the way down, which is saying something given all of the conflict that's going on across the world. So we'll see if we end up getting it. I know that there were some talks about U.S. troops being deployed, which is less than ideal, obviously, and perhaps that would signal the capitulatory move down that we're kind of waiting for here today. So we'll see if we end up getting it, but that's what I got from the SPY chart. Now, I was really excited to get to the insights from analysts. So now that we've got the SPY chart out of the way, maybe I can resume where we're supposed to be. Mohamed El-Arian paints a sobering picture of the U.S. economy and stock market grappling with, quote, stagflationary winds, end quote, triggering by the expanding Middle East conflict. With all major indices falling into correction territory, El-Arian warns that the market is finally internalizing a, quote, new realization, end quote. The economic damage is already significant and policy headroom is dangerously thin. He highlights a shifting landscape where resilient growth is being undermined by energy supply shortages and sticky inflation. El-Arian notes that investors must now brace for a, quote, a deeper, more prolonged disruption to the global economy, end quote, and the heightened risk of credit and liquidity risks feeding into one another. This environment has effectively dismantled the safety of the classic 60-40 portfolio, which recently suffered one of its worst monthly declines. Looking ahead, El-Arian expects the narrative to be defined by three unsettling themes: volatility, dispersion, and fragmentation, all of which we've talked about so far. As central banks shift towards a more hawkish stance to combat rising prices, he cautions that the path forward remains in, quote, escalation mode, end quote, leaving the markets with far more questions than answers regarding the eventual endpoint of this geopolitical and financial downdraft. So we'll see what we end up getting. El-Arian's kind of shifted from resilient and kind of wait and see to, I'm a little bit nervous here. Let's see how it goes. I know we have a short week, but just to kind of review some of the economic data prints or speeches that we are expecting here this week. On Monday, we have Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaking at 10:30. I know this is not normal, or I shouldn't say that, maybe not usual in terms of his usual routine and his usual schedule, but he'll speak today at 10:30. New York Fed President John Williams will speak at 4, all times Eastern, of course, as they always are. On Tuesday, January's S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index for 20 cities will be released at 9, and March's Chicago Business Barometer PMI data will be out by 9:45. February's job openings and March's consumer confidence data will be out by 10. Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee will speak at noon. Fed Governor Michael Barr will speak at 3, and Fed Vice Chair of Supervision Michelle Bowman will speak at 5:10. On Wednesday, February's delayed U.S. retail sales and retail sales minus autos data, along with March's ADP jobs data, will be released at 8:30. St. Louis Fed President Alberto Musalem will speak at 9:05. Fed Governor Michael Barr will speak at 9:10, and March's S&P final U.S. manufacturing PMI will be out by 9:45. March's ISM manufacturing data and January's delayed business inventories report will both be released by 10. On Thursday, initial jobless claims for the week ending March 28th and February's U.S. trade deficit data will be released by 8:30. On Friday, March's U.S. unemployment report, unemployment rate, hourly wages, and hourly wages year-over-year data will be out by 8:30, although the market will be closed. And March's S&P final U.S. services PMI will be released by 9:45. Really quick, good morning to all of our folks that joined a little bit late here. Sora, good morning, joining us from Facebook. Nice to see you. GP, good morning. Yassine, it's great to see you as always, brother. Welcome back. Brian, likewise. Good morning. Mo Chillin, good morning. Good morning to anybody that I might have missed. Big B's, it's great to see you all of the time. Okay, and then one more thing before we move through the rest of the news here. One more thing, I actually meant to mention this at the opener and I forgot. One more thing is next week, the show, we will not have a morning show Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The reason for this is because we are actually going to the Detroit office for a meeting for work. It is a company-wide meeting, and it's going to take place all day, so we will not have the capacity to run a show. Do not despair, however. We will be back the following Monday. So this Friday, no show because the market is closed. Next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be taking a very short hiatus, but we will be back on Monday. That return date in April is going to be Monday, April 13th. I'll mention that again throughout the course of the week for anyone that is kind of joining us late. Now, let's continue with some of the news. Of course, there's going to be news about AI stocks and all of that. This one having to do with NVIDIA and Tesla suddenly needing Samsung. Let's see what's going on here. A severe capacity crunch at Taiwan Semiconductor, ticker TSM, is forcing major clients like NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, and Tesla, ticker TSLA, to seek alternatives, which positions Samsung Electronics, ticker SSNLF, on the OTC market as a rare second source for cutting-edge chips. Taiwan Semiconductor's 3-nanometer process has entered a rare state of overload as chip designers and hyperscale cloud providers such as Amazon, AMZN, and Microsoft, MSFT, compete aggressively for limited capacity. TechNode reported this on Monday while citing the DigiTimes and TechWeb reports. The supply crunch has turned Taiwan Semiconductor's production capability into a key bottleneck, with demand far exceeding available capacity. The report added that this sharp mismatch between supply and demand is already interfering with the product development timelines of several companies. This industry is no longer dealing solely with rising costs driven by supply constraints. In the absence of adequate 3-nanometer capacity, many companies are hesitating to commit to downstream orders. Securing capacity and managing procurement have now become more urgent priorities than advancing technology for leading chip makers. And Taiwan Semiconductor has fully booked its 2-nanometer chip capacity through 2028 as demand from NVIDIA, Advanced Micro Devices, ticker AMD, and Apple, of course, ticker AAPL, and others surge amid the AI boom. This is according to Taiwan's Economic Daily. Even its future Arizona Fab 4, which is set for 2030 production, is already reserved. Crazy. Crazy. The supply crunch is creating an opening for Samsung Foundry, the only other player capable of producing 2-nanometer chips. Samsung has secured orders from Tesla and NVIDIA and may return to profitability this year. That was from the Chosen Sun Daily, reported today. Taiwan Semiconductor maintained its dominance in the pure-play foundry market, holding a 72% share in the fourth quarter, supported by strong demand for advanced nodes and AI-related chips. That is according to Counterpoint Research. Samsung ranked a distant second with a 7% market share as it continued working to improve yields and expand adoption of its newer processes. Now, looking at TSM here, TSM is trading 4.7% below its 20-day SMA and 1.4% above its 100-day SMA. This is a classic short-term pressure, longer-term support look. The combination of RSI in the 30 to 40 range and bearish MACD suggests that there's actually mixed momentum here on Taiwan Semiconductor. Their earnings have been great. They've been blowout. We all know about that for sure. And then as far as some of the consensus reactions here, Davidson has a buy and a 450 price target. That was recent as of February 13th. Barclays is overweight with a target of 450. That was from January 16th. And Cowen is at a hold. They raised their price target recently to 370. That also was from January 16th. Of course, Taiwan Semiconductor here in the pre-market today, 328, and that is higher than the 326 close from last week. It obviously is also in several ETFs, and it's going to have weighting in those, and significant inflows or outflows will likely trigger automatic buying and selling of that stock. So we'll see how it shakes out here. That demand ain't going nowhere. That is for sure. All right, next we've got Gary Black talking about Tesla and underperforming the NASDAQ for 5 years. I know that the self-driving has been quite a bit of hype for this company. Let's see if they're able to kind of turn this around. Investor Gary Black of the Future Fund has criticized Tesla for underperforming the NASDAQ 100 index for the last 5 years, which he thinks happened due to the brand not living up to the full self-driving promises. On Sunday, the investor shared his criticism via a post on the social media platform X as he responded to a post by influencer Holmar's Catalog. Nice one. In the post, the influencer had outlined various reasons to invest in the company. Quote, no investment professional values Tesla on a trailing PE basis, end quote. Black said in response, adding that investors and analysts used the forward PE ratio, which wasn't the reason the stock had underperformed NASDAQ the last 5 years. Quote, Tesla has underperformed because it has never lived up to the hype that its vehicles will drive themselves unsupervised, end quote. He then repeated CEO Elon Musk's claims about a Tesla robotaxi serving over half of the U.S. population by the end of last year. Musk also touted Tesla's robotaxi in Austin going driverless by the end of last year. Quote, despite all the assertions that Teslas drive autonomously today without supervision, Tesla still has only 9 robotaxis in operation without a safety monitor, end quote. He was criticizing the company's results for failing to match the hype. It's also worth noting that FSD system is currently under investigation by the NHTSA with a potential recall that could affect millions of Tesla vehicles out on the roads. Now, the comments follow as the investor had earlier called the technology a, quote, great product, end quote, which was negatively impacted by lack of marketing. The problem is a total lack of awareness with no advertising, he said. Black also urged Tesla to follow Apple's co-founder Steve Jobs' marketing strategy for its products. Quote, Tesla has the best products, but has no marketing, end quote. So what do you think about Tesla? I am still in the camp that I think inevitably this company is going to be the robo-taxi leader. I know there's obvious ups and downs, and there's people on both sides of that equation right now. We'll see how it shakes out here. I'm just in the habit of not betting against Elon. And I think there's also a bunch of AI data that's going to be used in this whole thing that should make it a winner in this new and expanding field. I don't understand it as far as the appeal of it, but I do understand the execution here. Okay, now more AI stories if you haven't had enough of AI. Mistral raises $830 million to build an NVIDIA-powered AI data center near Paris. Now we're starting to see more data centers pop up abroad here. French AI startup Mistral has reported securing $830 million in debt financing. The funds will be used to build a data center that is powered by NVIDIA chips, obviously NVDA. The financing round was backed by a consortium of 7 global banks, including BPI France, BNP Paribas, Crédit Agricole, CIB, HSBC, La Banque Postale, MUFG, and Natixis, CIB. Easy for me to say. That was all reported by Reuters. Mistral's new data center near Paris will support both AI model training and inference services, with operations expected to begin in Q2 this year. The facility will run on 13,800 NVIDIA GB300 GPUs, giving it a total capacity of 44 megawatts. Mistral plans to scale up to 200 megawatts of capacity across Europe by the end of 2027. CEO Arthur Mensch told the publication that expanding infrastructure in Europe is essential to support customers while keeping AI innovation and autonomy rooted in the region. Mistral AI did not immediately respond to Benzinga's request for comments, but we will, of course, update that story as we can. This move by Mistral is part of a broader strategy to strengthen Europe's AI capabilities. In February, Mistral announced a $1.4 billion investment with Swedish company Echo Data Center to build an AI-centric data center in Sweden. This was Mistral's first AI infrastructure investment outside of France. In December, Mistral launched a suite of AI models, positioning itself as a rival to U.S. AI giants like OpenAI and Alphabet's Google. The Mistral 3 release included a large frontier model with multimodal and multilingual capabilities and 9 smaller, offline-capable, fully customizable models. However, Mistral AI's $2.9 billion funding push pales in comparison to U.S. rivals, with OpenAI at $180 billion and Anthropic at $59 billion. That was reported by CNBC, citing a deal counting platform, Dealroom. Wall Street heavyweights, that was actually done there. I wanted to add something here. I don't think this is the end of more and more of these companies trying to step up their position and maybe take market share away from some of the big players. And I'm unsurprised to see this. I think this is the beginning of this. And I think this is actually one of the reasons why we're going to see AI stocks continue to buoy a market, even when we have outside influences like a lot of the geopolitical conflict that's going on. This story is still very early, and I think there's going to be more of this. I think there's definitely going to be more of this going forward. Okay. Now, I do have a story here on housing, and it's from some folks that I guess we could consider them controversial in some ways. I know that there are some people that like Burry, some people that don't. Same is true about Ackman. Here's what I got for you on this stupidly cheap bet. Wall Street heavyweights Bill Ackman and Michael Burry are urging investors to look past broader market fears and point to a massive asymmetric opportunity in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, that's ticker FNMA and FMCC, respectively. In a bold market call, Pershing Square's Ackman advised investors to, quote, ignore the bears. Not my words, his, just saying, ignore the bears, and mainstream media amid ongoing global conflicts, predicting that a large peace dividend following what he termed a one-sided war. Ackman highlighted government-sponsored enterprises Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac as prime investment targets. Quote, and this is from his one of his tweets here. Fannie and Freddie are stupidly cheap, end quote. That was from Ackman on X. Goes on to say, asymmetry at its best. This could be a 10X, and it could happen soon, end quote. Famed Big Short investor Michael Burry quickly amplified the thesis, sharing Ackman's post. Burry added, quote, cannot emphasize enough how rare this is in this market, end quote. Burry had previously praised Ackman's economic arguments regarding the two mortgage giants, noting that treating their shareholders fairly is vital to the integrity of the broader financial system. The billionaire's bullishness is tied to a renewed push to end federal conservatorship of Fannie and Freddie. Ackman recently published a lengthy manifesto accusing the government of, quote, outright theft, end quote, through the Obama era net worth sweep, which directed 100% of the company's profits to the Treasury. Arguing that the initial $193 billion bailout has already been overpaid by $25 billion, Ackman called on President Trump to honor the original contractual terms. Reminding the president of his past criticisms of the sweep, Ackman declared, quote, now that you have the time, Mr. President, let's stop the steal. The high-profile investor pressure aligns with massive shifts in the U.S. housing market orchestrated by the current administration. Recently, President Trump directed Fannie and Freddie to acquire $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities to boost housing affordability amid rising interest rate volatility. Concurrently, the Federal Housing Finance Agency, or the FHFA, scrapped strict Biden-era roofing insurance mandates, significantly lowering costs for homebuyers. As government directives in the housing sector accelerate, Ackman and Burry are betting that a highly lucrative exit from conservatorship is finally on the horizon. And indeed, if we end up getting that, perhaps there will be some opportunity in some of these names. Let me know if there are anyone trying to take advantage of this. Is anyone interested in this? Are there more opportunities within the housing sector that you prefer over these? Let me know. I still think that there's going to be opportunity here, and I'm hoping that it comes this year. Or I guess I would say sooner rather than later, but that pretty much means this year. Okay, got a crypto story for you here today. I would love to see what you folks think about crypto. Is anyone trading crypto right now? Do you think crypto has bottomed? This is something that we've kind of been talking about a little bit recently. This one has to do, I know Tom Lee predicted the crypto winter will end by April. Well, gosh, April's right around the corner. It starts this week. Another analyst says April 2027 is probably more likely. So I'd like to know, at least right off the bat here, whose side are you on? Cryptocurrency analyst Willy Woo, yes, I'm serious, Willy Woo said on Saturday that the bear market may drag on till April of 2027, dismissing Wall Street strategist Tom Lee's expectation of a recovery by April of this year. Lee, who also chairs Bitmine Immersion Technologies, ticker BMNR, said in mid-February that the crypto winter could end by April at the latest. Quote, I think it touched it to the penny, he thinks. We just have to undercut it once more, and that's the low, meaning we're really close to the end, end quote. And they again came from Tom Lee. However, Wu, who is a known crypto maxi, completely dismissed this prediction, saying, quote, he's high on hopium. April 2027 is more likely. First of all, I just got to shout out anyone else that uses hopium. I really like that. That's a term that I've been using for a long time. It makes me chuckle. It's nice to see some of these big time crypto people go at one another using some of the same terms. That's awesome. Notably, just earlier this month, Lee said that the cryptocurrency market has moved past its winter phase and could move higher, particularly through March. Whoops. Meanwhile, well-known cryptocurrency analyst Benjamin Cowen projected that Bitcoin would likely break below 60,000 in the coming weeks. They argued that 60,000 parallels the 6,000 level from prior bear markets in 2018 and 2019, a temporary support level that eventually broke. Cowen said earlier this month that while the 4-year market cycle appears intact, 2026 may be too early to declare the end of a bear market. So I would ask the group then, when do you think the bear market for crypto ends? And we can make it easy here. Do you think it ends in 2026? Do you think it ends in 2027? Do you think it ends later than that? Or if you're like Jamie Dimon from our chat, do you think it ends never? Is it just a ongoing complete bear market here? We'll see if we end up getting that here. I'm really curious to see if we get the seasonality shift in the beginning to the middle of April. Does that kind of bring crypto along with it? You know what, producer? Maybe we should do a poll about this. Maybe let's get our audience to tell us what they think crypto is going to do. Does it bottom here in 2026, 2027, later, or never? And let's see what we get from that. I'd love to get some opinions on crypto from the group here. Okay, another story here, and this is with the smart glasses. This is something I'm watching. I'm definitely interested in all of the news that comes out about Meta's smart glasses. I've been discussing with 13 about this, and I definitely think that there's an AI angle here. All of these wearables that are going to be collecting all of this information, there's definitely like an AI data angle here, and I'm kind of keeping my eye on it. And this kind of marks another aspect or another avenue in which more data can be gathered. Meta Platforms, ticker META, is reportedly planning to launch 2 new Ray-Ban smart glasses next week. The new models are specifically designed for prescription users, and Bloomberg reported this yesterday, citing people with knowledge of the matter. While previous models also supported the prescription, the latest models will be first launched with a specific audience in mind. Meta develops these glasses in partnership with Excelsior Luxottica. It's an OTC stock with the ticker ESLOF. And as per the report, the glasses will be rectangular and rounded in style. The source also told Publication that the glasses will be sold primarily via traditional optical retail channels. No word yet if Costco is going to carry these. Wink, wink. The device is internally named the Scriber and Blazer. They're all right names, but I suppose it could be a little bit better. Meta did not immediately respond to Benzinga's request for comments. We're not surprised, but as we get more, we'll update you. Now, previously on the earnings call, CEO Mark Zuckerberg spoke about the opportunity in the prescription eyewear segment. Quote, billions of people wear glasses and contacts for vision correction, and I think that we're at a moment similar to when smartphones arrived, end quote. And he stated that during the fourth quarter earnings call. Now, Meta had reported quarterly revenue of $59.89 billion, which did top analyst estimates of $58.3 billion, while adjusted earnings per share came in at $8.88 per share. That also exceeded expectations of $8.16 per share. Meta continues to be an early leader in the AR, VR glasses industry, even as competitors like Apple are making their own entries, although not doing all that great with that. Previously, it was reported that Cupertino also intends to launch glasses this year. So we'll see if Cupertino could get that done. We'll see if we end up getting those glasses. Let me know, is anyone out there looking more and more into wearables? Are you expanding from the traditional watch to glasses? And if so, what are your favorite usages for these wearable glasses? I guess that's one of the things that I'd be looking at for here today. Okay. Folks, that pretty much does it for the new. You know what we should do, actually, real quick? We should take a look at a couple of these charts that I just covered. I probably should have sprinkled that in during the news, but we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the charts now. Meta's is actually one of the most interesting. We closed at 525.72 last Friday. We're up 1.3% here, along with the broader market, which does look like it's trying to break higher here. Again, I don't know that we're out of the woods yet, despite some of the rhetoric. We'll see how the market actually trades when it opens. But looking at Meta here, I really think that this 487 level, if indeed we're not done yet with a broader move down that's going to take some of the stalwarts with us, I got to think that this 487 to 488 level is going to represent another key level here for Meta. This is a consolidation zone and a low here. This was from the Liberation Day low. Given the weakness in Meta's chart, I would be entirely unsurprised if we were able to kind of continue to roll over and test that. Furthermore, one of the other things I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this trend line out, because I would imagine when we eventually do bounce back, this trend line should actually prove as resistance here. Meta also entering oversold. One of the recent things that I've done on my charts here, just kind of through conversation with some of the more experienced traders on Happy Hour, I've actually adjusted my RSI thresholds from 70 and 30 for the overbought, oversold to 80 and 20 to give me kind of a more accurate, I want to say, reading of what's actually oversold versus what's not yet oversold. Meta here with an daily RSI of 25.5. I mean, we see one more pullback day here on Meta. This thing is going to be oversold by the new metric here. And again, round 500 number, only 32 points away. That's not a whole lot for Meta. And also that 486 to 487, or 482, 483, excuse me. That area down there should provide some support. So we'll see if we end up getting that. The other chart I really wanted to take a quick look at here was going to be Taiwan Semiconductor. This did come into its 100-day and so far has held it. So we'll see if we can recapture the 50 and the 200, the 50 and the 20. The 20 is really starting to pitch down fairly steeply. So we'll see if we can get that taken care of here. Sean, wearables are going to be like VR headsets, cool, viable, and very low adoption. And I think that's one of the things, right? Like, how adopted are these things, right? How many are these actually going to sell? And then how much data are they going to be able to get for them? Again, I'm not necessarily moved by this, but the second you give me AR, VR glasses that track my golf shots and read the green, I'm throwing money at it. That's just how it goes. All right, folks, let's go ahead. How much time do we have? Oh, we are golden on time. We're going to have plenty of time for ticker time here today. Get the tickers ready. Before we do that, though, got a couple of street tweets to take care of. Let's go ahead and knock out the street tweets segment. All right. Producer? He's got it. Producer's got it. Now, this first one here, maybe not a direct trading idea, more maybe several indirect trading ideas. But frankly, this tweet is awesome. This is on a theme that we had discussed ad nauseum in great length. And a lot of folks from our community have actually traded this before, or traded some of these stocks before. I just wanted to bring this to your attention here. Tweet here comes from John Kraus. If you were born after 1945-58 UTC on December 19th of 1972, you have not been alive during a time where a crude lunar spaceflight was underway. This is approximately 75% of the global population. That could change as soon as Wednesday evening with the planned launch of Artemis 2. Hundreds of thousands of people near Kennedy Space Center will see the launch with their own eyes, and likely millions will watch live online. If you can't make it out in person, I hope you'll tune in and watch as NASA makes its first attempt to send Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen into space and around the moon this week. It's not often you have an opportunity to witness a historic moment in real time. Please watch and soak it in. And after the launch, look up to the moon and smile, knowing that our great return to the lunar environment is well underway. Godspeed, Artemis. So obviously, of course, wishing for the health and safety of our astronauts here. But I mean, I grew up hearing stories about what it was like to be around in the 60s when we went to the moon the first time. And this is extremely exciting. There's now a new angle to this entire thing, frankly, because we are trading these companies now. We are trading these stocks. We are trading the companies that are really kind of pushing what we can do here as humanity. And it's a really exciting time. I'm really excited for this. I know 13 will be watching this. So we'll see how this shakes out. And we'll see what kind of trades we can get on the back of this. All right, producer, next tweet. All right, now this one here comes from Eric Jackson. And this is actually, and let me actually give you the tweet here. Sorry, I wanted to make sure, if you guys want to go through this, you can. But here's the actual tweet itself. He links it to the actual document that we're going to talk about here. He analyzed 83 Apple earnings transcripts that spanned 24 years. Okay, so we've got a really good sample size here. And the system detected the largest language shift in CEO Tim Cook's tenure, one quarter before Apple dropped 20%. Now, he links the study here. You are welcome to go through the study. I've actually just kind of summarized it here for you real quick, and I want to give you that. Q4 of 2024, he had artificial confidence, high optimism, and record low hedging, and that kind of led to an unsustainable narrative. Now, in 2026, his confidence is authentic, his optimism is high, and he has balanced caution, which leads to stable conviction. So the reason that I'm highlighting this is because we've talked a lot about, well, Apple's really behind in AI. Tim Cook needs to be replaced. The innovation there isn't great. But meanwhile, the transcripts from some of the conference calls, when compared to several years back, actually show something different. There's confidence in there, almost as if they know something is coming here that's going to be great for them. It is also worth noting that Apple has acted as a really good safety trade during the midst of some of this kind of revaluation and AI and all of that. And with them not introducing yet their big AI leveraged angle, perhaps that's still coming. And perhaps that represents the next leg for Apple. We'll see if that's the case. All right, let's go back to Benzinga Pro here. Let's take a look at some charts. What charts do you folks want to take a look at here? We've got about 14 minutes before 13 rolls out of bed and joins us here. I'm assuming we're going to absolutely cover some of the movers. In the meantime, let me know if there are any stocks that you folks want to take a look at, especially some of the bigger stocks. Okay, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and APLD so far. Looks like Micron. I don't know. Do you want to see Micron, or are you guys just having a conversation? Might as well. You know what? We'll start with that. Let me start with Micron, then we'll do the rest of these. Producer, if I miss some of these stocks, keep me posted on them. We'll make sure we get all of them. All right, here we go on Micron. So the big question here is, are we done breaking down, right? Are we done breaking down? Right now, we have broke beneath a previous support level. Actually, if we go to a longer term chart here, you can kind of see what we're looking at. This goes all the way back. I think this was like 1999 or 2000, right around that. We had a huge trend line here that we broke above, and now we've back tested it and broke it. So 357 was our closing price on Friday. Excuse me. 365.97 is our price here in the pre-market. We're up 2.45%. We're actually up more than the SPY. So we'll see if this is kind of a reflexive bounce or if this gets sold here today. It does, to me, sure look like we maybe want to pull back to this 100-day. I would think 334 actually marks a really good spot here. You'd also notice that this 334, this 100-day moving average, this actually corresponds to this kind of very short sideways leg that we traded through from the beginning of the year. Basically, as soon as the calendar flipped over to 2026 to the middle of January, we kind of traded in a pretty tight range. And right where the 100-day is the bottom of that range. So I would be not shocked if this were actually kind of able to hold this 334 area. Maybe we want to call this 330 to 335. To me, this actually represents an area where you could probably buy Micron and trade it to the upside. Now, I don't know if it's immediately going to go to the upside or if it's immediately going to set new highs or anything like this. But judging by some of the stories that we just told you here, despite memory prices falling a little bit, these guys are still have all of their business booked. They're not going to have any trouble. They've been absolutely crushing earnings. Really, this comes down to, do market participants, do they think that this is fairly priced, or do they still think there's more upside here? So let me know what you think here on Micron. Lion, it looks like you said you'll be buying Micron back soon. Let me know if you have a price for that. If anyone else has a price here or an area on Micron, this is a stock that we look at regularly in the happy hour and in the morning show here. And if you have an entry spot or an idea here for a trade, let me know. Big Hurt saying, no, it's not at VWAP. I've got VWAP on this at 365.85. That is the daily VWAP. Let me know what level it is, Brent, that you're looking at here. It all depends on the overall market. I will not be surprised to see Micron going below 300. Okay, well, before I change away from this chart then, that's aggressive, and I absolutely love it. Let's take a look at this chart. Here's the 300 level right in here, right? So near the end, right around New Year's, Micron made a break through that, and it punched its way through 300. So let me zoom in on this a little bit. It'd probably make it easier for you folks to see. So the round 300 number, first of all, totally makes sense for the round number itself. If it drops beneath it, I would say you're probably looking at 281. I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure I see it falling much more than this 265. That to me seems like that'd be a really healthy pullback. By that time, also, would probably have the 200-day coming up to support that price on or around that 265 area. So, okay, so a little bit more of an aggressive target here. Micron really needs to come in maybe towards 300. Next, I would say here, definitely going to be this area right in here. 330 is really kind of my next target here on Micron. Okay. That was MU. You also said NVIDIA and APLD. I think we should definitely take a look at NVIDIA. We actually talked about that in the news block anyway, so that makes complete sense. NVIDIA here, very much like the SPY, slowly breaking the 200-day and then kind of rolling over here. Remember, NVIDIA really hasn't done much of anything since July of last year. Yeah, we had this little move up in October and then a little bit of a bigger move towards Halloween. We very quickly retraced that and basically went right back into the sideways area. Now we continue to break down. It sure seems to me like the next step or the next spot here for NVIDIA is 165. We closed at 167.52 on Friday. Really close. We're at 169 here in the pre-market. To me, what happens at 165 on NVIDIA really going to be the key. Now, remember, Jensen's been in the news recently saying we reached AGI, we've achieved this, all of these great things. That's what he does. He's been doing that for forever. So we'll see if any of that makes a difference. But 165 is my next key area here for NVIDIA. After that, I'd probably be looking at 150 to 152 as those spots. APLD was another one. And then Microsoft, if memory serves. Here's APLD. This is Applied Digital. Now, today is going to be an important day. We got smoked here on Friday. We were down 7.58%. We closed at 23.76. That represented the first close below the 200-day in how long? May of last year. So the last time that we actually had a closing print below the 200-day moving average on this stock was back in May. We got that again on Friday. Now we're bouncing here today, but we really want to pay attention to where this closes. Great that we're able to bounce back above the 200-day. I've got that value at 2404. You just want to call it 24, I get it. Today we're up 2+% here in the pre-market, 24 and a quarter, 24.26. Can we close above the 200-day? If we can, and the market doesn't completely fall apart, and we actually on the back of that start getting some positive headlines about the geopolitical conflicts, you could have a bounce here from this 200. But otherwise, what I like to see here is I like to see 3 closes above or beneath. And remember what Mark Petrino said last week. You might as well wait for some of these to confirm that move instead of trying to catch a falling knife. So if we continue to break down, or in other words, if we're not able to recapture and close above the 200-day, I certainly think $20, maybe $20 to $21 represents your next support here to the downside. Past that, I think we probably jump this entire low volume gap, right? So I think if we can't hold 20, we probably jump this entire gap and trade down towards 14 to 15. That would be my guess. This to me in here feels a little bit gappy, and I think that the volume profile chart kind of confirms that for us. So today is going to be a key day for APLD. Can we close above the 200-day? If we can, maybe you get a bounce. And, depending on your outlook, maybe it's a short-term bounce if you think the market's not really going to turn around. But that would be a key level here that we're looking at on APLD. Now, I am going to go to Microsoft, but before we do that, I want to take a look at the Qs. Someone else suggested the Qs anyway. Acorns, this one's for you. I know we always look at the SPY here, but we'll also look at the QQQ here. Here's one thing that I want you folks to kind of keep in the back of your mind. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I have my own thoughts here about what's going to happen, but I certainly don't know what's going to happen. And here's one of the things I want you folks to be kind of aware of and watching for. Now, I'll kind of draw this here a little bit just to kind of emphasize. So we started this rollover, and this is true with the Qs and true with the SPY. We've started this rollover. We have a break of the 200. It absolutely looks like there's more bearish pressure. I am completely with you folks if you think that, hey, a lot of these charts look bearish and maybe some of these short-term pops should be sold. Totally makes sense. And as I said at the outset of this, what I would like to see the most is one of those capitulatory moves down. That to me seems more viable than some of these orderly ones, because one of the things that might happen, we kind of had this back and forth and then we kind of rolled over. Watch us bounce like this, suck people in, and then roll back over, chop around, and then roll over again. So I just the charts are going to tell us what to do, but there might be an opportunity. There might be an instance where the charts kind of tell us, hey, we're bouncing here. We've got oversold readings on a lot of these different stocks and ETFs. You can see here, Qs are actually printing a 3350 daily RSI here today. We'll see how that changes as we get to the close. But beware of this short-term reflexive bounce that might also take us back to the 200, be unable to recapture that, and then another pronounced rollover. That then might be the capitulatory move. And again, I don't know any kind of time frame for this. Just watch this. But in this scenario, if we get remember what Anne-Marie told us last week, the biggest bounces happen in bear tapes. So if we get a bounce back to the 200 and we are not able to recapture that 200, watch for it to possibly roll over and then maybe even get down here towards this 528. Now, this is going to be a little bit higher. If we get a bounce, this 500-day moving average is actually going to be a little bit higher. 530, maybe even 535 by the time that gets there. We'll see. Lion here said Qs may head lower to 530. Okay, there we go. Great support at 530. Okay, so watch for that. Let's see if we get one of these kind of reflexive bounces before the bigger move down, or if it's just the bigger puke move down. We'll see which one we get. Okay, Microsoft was the next one that we'll do. Here is your Microsoft chart. See if I can get my moving averages back. There we go. Okay, and now I got all kinds of trouble here now, folks. All kinds of trouble here with Microsoft. Come on, moving averages, get back here. I need the moving averages for this. Oh, for heaven's sakes, it's just not working for me. Not working for me with this. There we go. Okay, here's Microsoft. We talked about this a lot recently. This is absolutely coming into a support at this. I mean, it's kind of at a support level now. I know we're bouncing about 1% here today, but I would really love to see 345 get tested here. Better still, if we could consolidate for even just a couple of days around 345, I think that actually might set up for a springboard higher. But a lot of this is going to depend on what the broader market does. If we get that fake out, bounce back, and then roll over, all of the time frames on some of these other charts are going to be stretched out or delayed. And we're going to have to lean on some of those support areas here for Microsoft. So again, very bearish chart. This thing's really been whacked recently, but if it comes in here, 340, 345, that might actually make a pretty decent support area for Microsoft. Okay. We are cruising right along here on a Monday, and we have now entered the time where we are going to do our pre-market pulse. Let's check in with 13, and let's get you ready for today's open. All right, 13. Good morning. Happy Monday. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Had a wonderful weekend. Very relaxing. Recharged, ready to go.
Yeah.
How's everybody in the chat?
You and me both, buddy. It was an amazing one. Golf season is officially back where I live. That's one takeaway. But yeah, it was really good. And my bracket's not busted. Chat seems good. People seem fired up. They seem ready to go here for Monday. I could not be more stoked about it.
Well, all right.
Okay. Well, I was hoping for something a little bit more, but I guess not. All right, 13. Let's go ahead and do the movers here.
All right, let's do it.
13, awfully calm here today. Did you have your coffee today?
In the process.
I'm doing my best, folks. First stock here is going to be ELAB, ticker ELAB. This is PMGC Holdings. This has a catalyst that's causing it to run 162%. So 13, starting off here with 100+% mover. PMGC Holding shares are trading higher after the company announced its subsidiary North Strive Bioscience signed a licensing agreement amendment with an MOA Light to speed up its timing and key development milestones for EL32 and EL22 human critical development programs. Also, the company reported a year-over-year expansion of its asset base. So it looks like some pretty good news here. By the way, that asset base company expands its asset base to 13.8 million. That was a 43% increase from 2024. So here's your catalyst here on ELAB. Taking a quick peek at the short interest before I turn this over to you. If it loads here, I might be having a little bit of a data issue here. 6.11% of the float is shorted. It's only got 1 day to cover. And it does this on an average volume of about 812,000 shares. Today, we've done 43.9 million. This is versus a micro float of 541,000. What do you think here on ELAB?
I think this was one, we've looked at this before, certainly. And I think this is one that was kind of all over the place with the different things they have going on with it. I think at one point we were seeing news about them getting into small nuclear reactors. Company's basically done their second reverse split of the year earlier this month. This was a 1-for-6. Earlier in January, they did a 1-for-4. That 1-for-6 happened on March 10th. That has now resulted in a very low float of 541,000 shares. Company has some cash, but they are not profitable, and until recently they weren't getting any revenue. Then I had a little bit, but it's not enough. They're going to need to raise capital at some point, but I don't think that's going to happen quite yet. Their cash runway looks to be at least a couple quarters with their current cash burn rate. So I would think that if there is going to be a capital raise, it might not happen soon, but it's going to have to happen eventually. I just couldn't tell you exactly when. Looking at the chart, this one having a pretty good morning here. I was watching this as I was looking at some of these other names. Watched it break over $4 and go up to $4.49. Have a little bit of a trend line that I started with the after hours breakout and drew it through the most recent one that we had that took us up to 438. We have tested that as resistance now, and we're coming back in. If we're going to be looking at for some support, I would think $4 is your earliest level.
Okay. $4 earliest support. We'll see if we end up getting. I just connected the after hours to the pre-market.
That
okay? Perfect.
I didn't have the 449 print when I drew it, so this is a bit of a resistance trend line for me.
Got it.
So,
okay, it gives us the target.
Yeah, you could use it that way. But $4 is the support, and we're headed down towards that right now.
Okay. Really good stuff there on ELAB. We'll see what we get here. Next, this is going to be one of the junkers from last week. Looks like we're back. We're back with a vengeance here, and just starting right off the bat, just because I'm pretty sure 13 is going to mention it. I'm just going to go ahead and pre-draw it on the chart there, because we have another trend line target, if you will. Here's EEIQ. This is Epic Quest Education Group. This gave us a big move last week. There were multiple days where you folks were trading this. Looks like it's ramping here again in the pre-market. We had one initial move higher on volume, followed by a pullback, and then a move to new highs on even bigger volume, and then a pullback again beneath the VWAP, and we are unable to cross the VWAP. So first things first here, definitely need to get back above the VWAP for some more upside momentum on this. Now, I know we had news last week, but I actually didn't check this here today. Let me see if we have any new fresh news here today. No, we don't. No. It was just a continuation of last week. Let me
Can you see on the daily chart Friday's candle?
Can I see it?
On Friday, yeah, on the daily chart, Friday's candle.
No, is this a blank?
I've got that issue across multiple charts.
Interesting.
It only gives me the close. So I had to go with just the close, but it looks like this is a momentum play here, because the close supposedly was at 698. That's still above the 200-day SMA. So I think the high volume move that we got on Thursday and then held above the 200. We also had a silver cross with the 20 crossing the 50 to the upside, the moving averages. I think that's leading to this movement that we're seeing here today of a momentum play. So in that sense, I think that if we're going to look at it that way, the resistance today now, since we've had this move already, is going to be at VWAP, and support's going to be down at the 65 EMA. If we manage to break above VWAP, we could potentially see 14 again. I don't know that will necessarily go there right away, but it's certainly possible if we manage to recapture VWAP with volume.
Okay. We'll see if we end up getting it. It is worth noting that we did have a fair value gap here that got touched. So I don't know that I necessarily want to just buy it if we get back there. We did touch the top end of the range, so I guess it could still be unmitigated. But in any case, EEIQ, a quick peek at the short interest on this 13 is just a reminder, 7% of the float shorted, 1.56 days to cover. An average stock trades 1.8 million shares, done 15 plus million here today versus a float of under a million. So this thing could also give us some fireworks here today. EEIQ, good breakdown, 13. I'm going to keep moving on here. ASTC is our next stock on the list. This is Astrotech. This did trade up in the after hours last week, popped again here on some pretty good volume this morning before coming back in. It's actually right beneath its VWAP. Looks like on Friday morning it reported earnings, and then I guess, again, popped a little bit in the after hours. Nothing fresh on the news front from then to now, however. So it looks like maybe just some continued reaction to that. Quick peek at the short interest on this one, 1.71% of the float shorted with 4.38 days to cover. That's because it has an average volume of literally 14,000 shares. I think you could throw that out. Probably no squeeze action here today. I have a float here of 1.68 million. It's traded 5.4 million here today, so we've totally rotated it prior to the open. What do you think here on ASTC, Chartmaster?
Do you see a trend line there while you draw that? Just wanted to mention a couple of things real quick with EEIQ. They did a reverse split in February on the 17th. It was a 1 for 16, resulting in the 859,000 share float they have. They have some cash and revenue, but they're going to need to raise some more cash at some point. So keep that in mind. That's just with EEIQ. Looking over here at ASTC, this move that we're getting here today, I think this is on relative volume. I didn't see any news that was driving this up here today, but just looking at how we were getting this movement on Friday, I think this was like one of the highest volume days we've had since middle of December last year. So I think we're seeing some of that volume carry over into today. The float is 1.68 million. I have VWAP as the next resistance, but if we break through that, then I think we could go towards that trend line. I actually went to the wicks. It's interesting that the wicks on Pro are so different from the one on my chart. But anyway, that's that. We'll go with that because some of the wicks don't have the same extension. Like that one, that red one that you drew through. That one I have here on my broker is higher than the green candle.
So part of that, because your broker might be showing more of the overnight session, like the actual 24-hour session, which is not being shown here. That might be one of the reasons for it. 13, the basic premise here is I thought that with some of the wicks that I chopped through, first of all, I was able to touch more points. This is almost like the statistics student in me drawing a correlation coefficient line, trying to draw it through the most amounts of contact here. We can adjust it if necessary, and if it looks just awfully different on yours, maybe I should. But this is just kind of what I eyeballed. It's
close enough. I think for the purpose that we're going to be using it for, it gives us an idea of where we could see resistance if we recapture VWAP and go on a run.
Okay. Folks, I also really quickly want to remind you, please vote in our poll. We have a poll up here that is crypto related today. I would very much like to get thoughts from the group on crypto. We've talked about that being our risk on, risk off indicator. Crypto up 2.85% here today. The question was, when do you think crypto will bottom? 13, 2026, 2027, later than that, or nowhere near the bottom, or already bottomed, or nowhere near the bottom. So please, folks, vote in our poll and also smash up the likes. We are not even above 100 likes. We expected to be above 100 before pre-market pulse. So 13, we're going to have to dock you for that. Unfortunately, the group let you down.
It's interesting that because I saw that poll and I was like, well, they don't have the answer I want to give.
What answer did you want to give? Let's start with that.
Sideways. I think we're going sideways. Do we see some slightly lower prints? I think we could. I think we're going to go sideways for a time, just based on the way that Bitcoin has traded in the past. Come off these large rallies, you see some bottoming and some sideways price action that takes a while. And then as soon as we start getting closer to the next halving event, it begins to ramp up. Sometimes it goes on a run prior, but the real big move doesn't start to happen until after the next halving event, which I believe is going to be in 2028. So we could see a lot of back and forth, but mostly I think we're going to see a general sideways price action of Bitcoin for a time.
Okay, so then later than 2027 is the cohort that you would fit in there if it's congruent with the halving. Okay, good stuff. Anyway, folks, please smash up the like and please vote in that poll. We want your opinion. We want your opinion, and we want you folks to help promote all of that stuff. So, okay, really good stuff. ASTC, did you have anything else on this one? Can we move on?
Other than it looks like it's trying to get. Oh, I'm sorry, looking at a different chart. No, I think it's just we need to see if it's going to recapture VWAP, and if it does with volume, then we want to keep an eye on that trend line. That's
okay. Perfect. So that's our possible trade plan here. If we see a move through VWAP on expanding volume, that then puts the trend line in as a target. Absent of that, we're probably in wait and see for a trade on ASTC. Okay. Next on the list here, Hollow, YOLO, JOLO. We have one of the favorite stocks here that's just been kind of fun for us. This is Micro Cloud Hologram. This did pop in the after hours on Friday. It's popping again here. It's actually made 2 pops here this morning. We're above the VWAP. We're up near the pre-market highs, but we've pulled off the actual high itself. Taking a look at this on Friday, they reported fiscal year 2025 revenue of $56.5 million. That was up 39.1% year over year. They had a 39.1% increase in total revenue. So, okay, good news. Stacks up by 30% here today. Looking at the short interest, 6.15% of the float shorted with 2.06 days to cover. Traded 3 million shares versus an average of 500,000 shares, or a little bit more than that. Lotus 14 million here. 13, what do you think of this stock? Well, this is one we've traded before. It can be a joker, but what do you think of this here today?
If the income statement is real, they're doing much better than they've done in the past. Guess they've turned. I guess I don't know if I'm looking at the most recent one where they reported earnings, or if this is just their last half year. It might be their last half year, but it looks like they're doing better financially. I still can't get a solid idea of what exactly this company does, even though they say they're in holographic technology. I've seen quantum get thrown around. I've seen AI get thrown around. I really don't know exactly what this company does. But let's look at the chart here.
So let me summarize 13 there for you real quick. If they're not lying sacks of crap, maybe it works out, but otherwise we're not really sure. Let's see what happens. Look, I'm with you on this. This is definitely a junkie. I'm making a joke right here, but this is definitely a junkie mover. What I will say on the action here, this to me is not one that you chase without a doubt. Wait for this to come back in if you're going to trade it, but 13, take it away with the rest of it.
Yeah, so we are coming up to the 65 EMA on the daily chart, and the last time that we had a move with anywhere near this kind of volume, I think it was back on the 11th of March, and that took us up to as high as 256, which is where we're at right now. And we got resistance from the low at the end of last year, December 31st. There's a candle that is right there at 256, has been keeping the price from going much higher. So I think that area right there, 256, maybe a little bit higher in the 280s, where you have that sideways consolidation. That's probably going to be your resistance. I don't know how great this is going to be, but that's where I would peg the next area of resistance if it manages to push through the 256 area.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. 13. We'll see what we get here. Hollow, YOLO, Jolo. Okay. I absolutely love it. Good stuff. Okay. Next here is going to be Sigma Lithium. Ticker on this bad boy's SGML. Sigma Lithium shares are trading higher after the company reported a year-over-year increase in Q4 financial results. So at least, here real quick, Alpha Trade saying that Hollow's cash is greater than its market cap.
Okay. I know that it might look that way, but remember, like a lot of these companies, they're not reporting in dollars, they're reporting in RMB. So it might be the case that they are trading higher.
Did you say R&B like R. Kelly, or R&D like research and development?
RMB.
RMB. Excuse me.
Yes, and
I'm spicy this morning.
I would double check and make sure that their cash position is in that denomination, because if it's not and it's in RMB, then I think it's much lower than their market cap. Just something to double check. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying it's sometimes they report this way, and that's the figures you're seeing in these brokers and things like Benzinga.
Okay. All right. SGML trading up here this morning. We'll see if we get a trade on this. Did you have anything else?
And that was Hollow, by the way, that I was talking about.
So what do you have for SGML?
SGML needs to hold VWAP. It's been providing support ever since pretty much this entire move here. We've just kind of been riding and holding above support. So if we lose that, the party might be over. Support areas to the downside after VWAP looks like 1240 could be one. That would be the earliest one. And then after that, maybe $11.90 to $12 would be the next area. Sigma Lithium. What was the news on this?
They're trading up because it had a year-over-year increase in its Q4 financials. Yep.
Gotcha. Well, it's giving a little bit of a lift to ALB, which is the lithium play that I'm still in a little bit here, just waiting for some slightly higher prints. Lithium, I expect to still be a big, important material this year and probably even next year. So not surprised to see that their earnings are doing better on the heels of increased lithium prices. I don't really have a whole lot more to add. I don't know what else SGML does, but with ALB, I know there's also a bromine angle that could also help give that stock a secondary lift.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I lost my mouse there. That was totally my fault. All right. Next here is going to be Resolve AI. This is one of our stocks that we had in focus here earlier. They reported earnings here. They actually traded up on Friday, traded up again here today. This is actually a nice impulse move on pretty decent volume. Took us above 3, but it was short-lived before coming back in. Taking a look at this again, let's see what we got. Resolve AI, a fiscal year EPS of a 38-cent loss, missed the 3-cent estimate. Yikes. Sales of 46.8 billion beat the estimate of 26.8 billion. Big beat there. They also raised their fiscal year 26 revenue guidance to 360 million. So looks like on the as a whole here, we got a good report. Stock is up by just about 20%. Quick peek at the short interest, 12.54% of the float shorted with 3.13 days to cover. So there is some short interest here. Don't know if it's enough to really be kind of squeezy here today. Float on this one much thicker than some of the other ones we look at, 312 million. On average, it trades 21.5 million. Today, it's traded 13.19 million. So 13, tell me what you think here, Resolve AI.
Looking like, well, you pointed out the float. This is starting to look a little heavy here, and we are looking like we're about to lose VWAP. Volumes really come down. If we can't hold above VWAP here, looks to me like support. If we don't get it at 280, we're probably going to end up getting it around 275. If we go any lower than that, there's a lot of sideways consolidation that could, be a demand zone. So there's certainly some levels between the 65 EMA and the 200 EMA to the downside, but it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of upside unless we start clearing out some of these sellers that are in the way. I see a large couple of sellers just around the $3 area. So we need to see some large volume with that one. Looking at their cash, this company loses a lot of money.
You don't say.
This company loses a lot of money.
I mean, their EPS was a humongous miss.
Yeah, but then I look at their income statement, and yeah, they lose a lot of money. So
cash destroyer.
Yeah, it's a cash destroyer. I think you're gonna want to be careful with this one. I'd have to look into see what read their earnings report and see what their cash is like now, and if they've raised any recently. Because if they haven't, they're going to need to do it soon.
Right. Sorry, I'm putting an idea here together for the producer that we're all going to love. Not just us three, but also the entire audience here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to punt this to you, and we're going to go to GLND next. This is Greenland Energy. I also have Velo on the list. Those were the only two here. I guess we could talk about IQ if you wanted. But in any case, GLND is the next one here. Stock is still up 13%. It popped big on Friday before retracing that entire move. It took Friday afternoon and the pre-market here today in order to do that. On Friday, Greenland Energy signs a drilling agreement with Stampede Drilling to offer high-performance rig expert services for operations in the Jameson Land Basin. I actually don't know where that is off the top of my head. That is an offshore oil exploration program in Greenland. So that's what's going on here. That's probably moving with the rest of the oil theme from all of the macro ties that it has. I got no short interest on this. Looks like this is a fairly new issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So indeed it is. Looks like we're bottoming here around 9, or maybe we're bottoming. I don't know. Maybe you don't have anything on this 13, but let me know what you think.
Well, he punted it to me, and I'm just going to let it touch back in the end zone. I love it. This is probably not one I'm going to want to touch right just yet. It's had no green days, and this is a new debut. Now, interestingly, it's in the oil and gas sector. You said this was for Greenland exploration. Looks like the Jameson Land Basin is in East Greenland.
Yeah. So exactly.
Yeah, maybe if there's some more oil news, we see this go. But other than that, I really don't have a good read on this. Let me see here if I can give you something. There is a bit of a trend I think I see. I'm just going to start with the high from Friday's pre-market and go with the high from Friday's after hours. And I guess that would be the earliest trend I would want to see snap. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this basically.
Yeah, I think that's what I would go with for now. I really
I mean, it
don't.
looks like we're going to get a test of this right at the open, so we'll see.
Now, you have, okay, so you're just using the pre-market from, oh, that's Friday. I guess I must be looking at Thursday.
So the
Oh,
blue shaded area is Friday. The gold shaded area
oh,
is today.
I've got, okay, so then it must be that whole broker thing. I'm going with the highs at the market open on Friday, the pre-market open on Friday through the after hours on Friday.
Ah, so you're doing one of these
Yeah.
thingers.
Okay,
That
that's what
makes a lot of sense. 13 and changes the calculus quite a bit.
Yeah, that's what I threw.
Got it. See, we solve problems around here. All right, 13. One of the other stocks that's on the movers list here today is one of your favorites. And by the way, before I go into this real quick, I definitely want to mention that I did this while you were not here. As part of street tweets here today, but just to kind of re-emphasize this, because I know that this kind of ties into the space play. If you want to also comment on this at the end, I figured you'd be the perfect person for it. A really awesome tweet here about how if you were born past this time on December 19th of 1972, you've not been alive when we've had a crewed lunar space flight, and that is about to change with Artemis here this week. So I thought this was something that we talk about all the time. This is a theme that we're invested in. We trade in all the time. This is a really monumental moment. And I shared this here with the group during our street tweets segment. I mention all of that because we've talked about Velo being a possible space 3D printing play. This is actually popping here today. So 13, do you want to take a look at Velo?
Sure.
Talk about the chart here a little bit. I can set you up if there was any news on this stock here today, but I am going to step away briefly here while you cover this.
Yeah, the news is they got a contract.
Okay, that's good. BRB, 1 second.
Yep. So today they received a 5-year, $90.8 million contract to support U.S. Defense Logistics Agency Joint Additive Manufacturing Acceptability Pilot Parts Program. Basically, they're going to have Velo 3D's Sapphire systems, the 3D print a lot of different components for the what is this? The U.S. Defense Logistics Agency. Okay, so I don't know if this is necessarily just a Army or it's just a wider, Department of War contract, which I think it might be. But this is one of the things that we knew we expected to happen because there was already getting some business with the Army and having them look into using their additive printing machines. Velo is, I think they've got a fantastic product. They're going to be widely used in aerospace and now the defense industry. They already are making other components for other systems like drones. So there's going to be I think there's going to be a lot to like when it comes to these 3D printing companies, particularly Velo 3D. And I know that there's been a lot of talk about, well, I don't know if I would say a lot, but some people have been mentioning that we're in a space race. There's been a lot of pushback on that, particularly from government agencies. We're not in a space race. We're in a space race, folks. We're trying to get to the moon. U.S. and China are both trying to get to the moon. The first person there doesn't necessarily get the state claim, but there are some particulars of the Outer Space Treaty that kind of make it seem like if the first person's there and it starts establishing equipment in certain areas of the moon, that kind of renders that area a little bit contentious because of Article 9 of the Outer Space Treaty. So I think we are going to be seeing a lot of development in the space sector starting. It could be very soon, but I think one of the reasons you're seeing a lot of stomach for industrials is partially for that reason. We're going to be building a lot more data centers. We're going to be building a lot more electrical infrastructure, and we're going to be building the supply chains to go into outer space. I think that's going to be happening a lot sooner than we think.
Okay, awesome. Velo 3D should benefit from all of that.
Yeah, Velo 3D is going to benefit from a lot of what the manufacturing needs that the United States has going on.
Okay.
Moon Wars is certainly something that we could see in the future, Joe, but I think it's something that we're still a ways away from.
We don't need to be forecasting any more wars at this point. Just going to throw that out there. All right. 13, was there anything else from the movers list that you wanted to go over? We got less than 3 minutes till we open here.
No, but yeah, EKS, that Article 9, basically if there's already somebody there, with equipment, then there needs to be dialogue in order to, if there's going to be any missions done in that area. Go in a little bit more into Article 9. It is, the environmental cooperative clause of the treaty, as you pointed out. But if, somebody's already there and we're effectively landing in the same area, which is going to be the southern part of the moon where all the water is, then it creates a bit of a predicament.
Okay. All right. Bob is asking about Ondas. Let's do that here. Let's take a look at it. And I think I know why you're asking about this, because everything got obliterated on Friday. And Ondas under $9. And if you look at the chart, oh, doctor, it looks bad.
Uh-oh.
It looks real bad. 13, we broke the trend line. We broke the 100-day. We have the 200-day sitting here at 724. We also have this downward sloping trend line that I'm going to extend that may act as some support here. Look, stocks got punished last week. Stocks are in the process of getting punished. And despite my affinity for Ondas, it's not immune to getting punished. And that's kind of where we're at here with this. I did tell you I took a call position on Thursday looking for the September 18s. I'm still in that. Obviously, that's more for a trading spot here. But next that I'd be looking at, really 837. We're not far from that. If we can hold that and then maybe hold above the 200-day, maybe we can kind of curl back up. I am going to delete my first prediction curl drawing here. It looks like that's not going to happen. We will see. We will see where this goes next here. Retro saying one too many offerings for Ondas. And the hope here is that as they've shown that they can do in the past, hopefully they use that offering to continue to increase business and money moving to the bottom line. Then it won't matter. But for right now, it's weighing on the stock. Stock's lower here. Thankfully, we had ample opportunity to sell out of this in double digits when it made its last run up there.
I think I'd be keeping my eye on the area between 750 and 8.
Okay.
I think those areas look like pretty good support. We'll see if they end up holding up. That would also still be a support from the 200-day SMA as well. It just looks like we're kind of heading that direction. That's where I think support could start to kick in.
Okay, I'm going to flip over to the main workspace here. We are under a minute. Oh,
we're open.
Oh, look at that. It's almost as if we were going for that. All right, here we go, folks. Here we go.
ELAB, trying to get that support from VWAP out of the open here and push up higher. There it starts to go, but can it break 420? Looks like it's trying to. A little resistance. EIQ not doing a whole lot yet, still in the consolidation. This might actually end up coming towards the 65 EMA if we can't still get back above that VWAP. ASTC looks like they had an attempt to move above VWAP right before we opened, and it was rejected.
So here's the thing I'm looking at on ELAB. Feels like maybe this is a potential bounce spot from 4 here, but I've got the VWAP down here at 358. Boy, all I had to do was open my mouth and that thing bounced 20 cents.
SGML popped right up to 14.
Oh, yes.
1398, but pretty close.
And of all of the movers that we looked at, it really does seem like SGML is one of the quote unquote better stocks here that we kind of look at. So
Resolved AI, resolved lower.
ELAB. Going back to the pre-market highs, new intraday highs there. There we go on ELABs. We did not go down to the VWAP, bounced clean off of the 15 EMA on the 5 there. 450 is going to be your next upside target. Hello, Chris. Hello, friends.
Hello. Velo selling. Greenland Energy also, well, it's slowly moving down, but yeah, Velo taking that profit. SGML also pulling a little bit here, but still above 1350. And ELAB is off.
ELAB broke through that 450 with the quickness, now pushing up towards 5. Grats if anyone was on that. Was not on that myself. Chris says, I've been getting killed trying to buy dips the last few sessions.
Now you got a seller walking some of the price of ELAB down. He just got deleted. SGML new highs 1454 now.
Resolve, big pull down to the 200 EMA on the 5, 258 supporting it right here. ELAB popping. Hey, Amanda, good morning. Good to see you again. Long time. Hopefully all is well with you.
Hey, Amanda. Are you excited for the potential Ocarina of Time remake at the end of the year? That's what's happening. I'm excited for it.
Whoa.
That could be a big day or a big event for Nintendo.
Now, is that a possible trade idea on NTDOY?
It might be, but not until maybe toward the end of the year, because this is so. If you were to Google what is the best game all time to ever come out on a console, you'll get an answer of, well, it's subjective, but here is the top, typically the top answers. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is always in the top 3. So if they do a remake of this and they, this is going to be a nostalgia play. If they do a remake of this and they also release a Switch 2 with, Legend of Zelda designs on it, which they did the last time that they came out with a new release, that could drive sales. I think that would be a really interesting play for Nintendo. NTDOY, and its stock's been hammered down since last year, so it's setting up for an opportunity.
Okay. Good stuff there. Keep me posted on that. No position. I rely on 13 for my Nintendo news. I guess we can fold Amanda into that as well. Keep us posted on all of that. Better than trading about the Grand Theft Auto headlines, Big Hurt. And then Jay, really quickly, Jay mentioned this earlier, huge insider buy on Palo Alto. I did not cover that during the news segment, Jay. Really good mention. Palo Alto up 4.5% versus the close on Friday. This thing got pounded on Friday. Looks like we're bouncing back now on that. Here's what it looks like on the daily. And so, Jay, I'm going to put you on the spot since you mentioned that. Is the near-term bottom in on Palo Alto? And I know that it printed, like 143? Let's just call it 140. Is 140 in? Because this actually represents a pretty decent trade opportunity if you think that's the case. Let me know what you think here on Palo Alto. Again, I threw that in the chat. Aurora Nikesh, director and CEO, bought 68,000 shares at an average price of 146.87. Palo Alto, ticker PANW.
The candle we got on Friday, that looks pretty dang good for reversal. Now, the thing that I need to see is recapturing the 50-day SMA.
Yeah.
Since we lost it back on November 13th, we have not been able to get back and close above it, except for maybe one day on March 19th. But the very next day, we were just right back to losing levels left and right. So want to see some closes, several closes above the 50-day SMA. That would give me some confidence that we're finally recovering.
Okay. Jay, to answer the question directly here, I appreciate it as always. Jay saying it's a vote of confidence, and I like it. Jay, let me know if you have a trade on this, a target. Do you think we see 200 here this year? Let me know. Also, GP38 Super saying Palo Alto also entered the gap fill zone, 150-250. Indeed, it did. It looks like it actually is going to try to fill that gap up towards 155. That's a wick, right? No, actually, we did fill the gap. This is created between the days of Wednesday, March 25th and Thursday, March 26th. That gap's been filled. I'd like to see this get back above 157 in the near term. We'll see what we can do on Palo Alto.
We are getting the market to really pull on something here.
I do see it pulling a little bit. It actually tried to trade up, which was kind of a nasty move, and pulled down. That's why we wait 15 minutes.
It's interesting with the SPY. We're in a bit of a support area. This is where the August highs started. We started chopping around in the summer. We hit the August highs, late July highs, and then we sold off a bit. It took us back down to the 620s before we ended up breaking out later on that month. So we're in a bit of a support area here. We might see some of the price action stall or maybe reverse. but we're also not too far away from where that 10% level is also.
Real quick here, BRFG is halted to the upside. It looks like several folks are out on that move. Congrats. We'll give you some register rings on that little junker. Also, ELAB here, this did pull right back to that same 15 EMA that kind of shot it the first time. We'll see if it's got enough strength to reload and maybe move higher here. But ELAB looking all right.
Yeah, SGML, this also pulled a little bit too, but it's still holding above VWAP. So that could potentially be good. Another one that we were trading last week, MKDW, that's halted to the upside. This one was getting hammered on Friday, kind of went sideways throughout the afternoon and the after hours. And now here today, we're trying to recover. This is halted at 618.
Okay, MKDW indeed halted to the upside. That's actually above the pre-market high as well, 13. BFRG halted to the upside 125. Grats on all of that. LAC, this is Lithium America. This is also moving higher. I know we talked a lot about SGML here in the breakdown, but LAC also moving higher on that. I did just see Velo on the list, although it disappeared real quick. Let me pull it up manually. Up, Velo pulling all the way back down after that pre-market pop there.
That's fine. I mean, this is a longer term thing anyway, but still a really good story, and I like their product.
Another popular stock, at least amongst this group here, NBIS pulling back out of the open. This had a really rough day on Friday, and looks like it's having another rough day here today, down 3.5%. Let me ask, anyone got any buy zones on NBIS? Are we looking here maybe 86? If we draw a trend line here, maybe this gives us an idea. We're basically right there, thinking 95. Let me know on Nebius where there's the next buy zone for you guys.
Let me see here. NBIS. With the loss of the 50-day SMA, it's looking more like we're going to be seeing, I would say, $90.
Okay, so 90 for you. So that would actually break the trend line that we just drew there on the daily too, interestingly enough. 90 puts us down right here. Yeah, I could see that too, 13. And actually, look at this 90 area. This is back in September of last year. We gapped above that area, then used it as support. We've actually traded beneath that and rounded back up, but maybe this kicks us back over here. And then the other thing that I'm going to draw, let me make this a little bit easier. Oh, for heaven's sakes, Ryan. Good God. I got it. Don't worry. Don't worry about me. We're having a fine time. I'm going to draw this on the top side. We'll see. That gives us a target here. Okay, NBIS. 86. CW Parker says NBIS 86.
I could get down with that level too. That would be the low from that area you were just mentioning. So yeah, that's where the gap was from September. That candle that we gapped up with, the low of that was 86.12. I certainly think that's a completely reasonable level.
BMNR here, this is actually still up 2%, but it's pulled back since the open. Bitcoin's not moving to the downside, so this is actually moving against the Bitcoin move. Bitcoin holding steady here at about 68,000, still up 2.75%. Excuse me.
Oh, it's a you grow morning again. Look at you grow go. Bit of a trend line here too, I think.
I love NBIS to get to the lower 90s, and then GP super support. Okay, so it sounds like, at least for a majority of the group, you guys kind of like the support area there, anywhere between 86 and 90 on NBIS. Looks like it's forming a handle. Would wait until it hits 132 to get in at a proper buy point. So, Kathy, you're going to kind of wait this move down out, it sounds like. Makes sense to me. And you're right about Ugrow 13. I'm sorry, it took me a sec there, but this did pop out of the open. That also went above the pre-market high.
Actually, Kelly Uma was right about it. She brought it up.
My apologies. Congrats, Kelly. The Noob. Chipotle trying to trade up here, up 1%. We'll see if Chipotle can get out of its own way. Lion here saying, Ryan in 13, I think this pop is short-lived. We may see a sell-off this afternoon. Lion, it might not even wait for this afternoon. We have seen a sell-off here out of the open. I think the first thing that we would need to see, I'm looking at the ES chart here. We're not quite at the VWAP, so I think maybe a little bit of a pullback and a bounce then may also turn into a possible move down. We did have some comments that Trump's negotiating and all of that, but I think at this point it's really kind of turned into the boy who cried wolf at this point. We probably want to see more than just comments. The market seems like it's not buying them as much. It's not moving around in such a volatile manner like it once was. So we got that kind of going on as the backdrop again as well. Also, Jay mentioning that the semis are weak here. Go ahead, 13, sorry.
Keep an eye on SGML. This is still holding above the VWAP, and it looks like it's trying to, if it gets some volume, I think we're going to see potentially 15. But just keep an eye on SGML. This is still holding above the VWAP. Just needs more volume. If you get that volume, I think we're going to go higher.
Okay, BFRG resumed. Brent said, no, it's not Ryan. Brent, I actually don't know what you're referring to there. So you'd have to, if I made a mistake, let me know. I'll clean it up. BFRG still holding. Just as soon as I said holding, it dropped, so I'm done.
Ryan, I sent you a text over the weekend.
I know. And I did nothing with it because I had just an absolute monster weekend here.
Oh, okay. 13, well, I didn't want to interrupt your weekend, but I thought this was a pretty cool tool.
So you want to preview what you're talking about, because when we look through it, we can kind of share it on some of these programs.
Yeah, because I was over the weekend I go through a whole series of looking up information and research, and looking at one of the videos that I go through. It brought up this really interesting supply chain deep map that shows pretty much like all the how all the different companies that are in this the whole AI and semis field are all connected to each other. Here, I'll post the link here in the chat.
Awesome.
This is made by somebody on X called Chief of Autism. So make sure you guys give them the credit that they deserve for this. But this is a fantastic tool. And one of the things I really like about it is that it shows where the bottlenecks are and what companies are involved in certain parts of the supply chain, who's supplying, the substrates, and who's supplying TSMC. I mean, this goes all the way down to the raw ore and who's mining that. So this is a really comprehensive web of shit, I guess we'll call it, that really helps help you figure out where who's buying what from which companies. I mean, this is just a fantastic piece of information. So I wanted to share that with you all. I think this is going to be great for when the AI trade comes back on.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing it here. The problem with me over the weekend is that I didn't find myself at my computer, which your instructions explicitly said to do. I was out running around, which is why I haven't done that. But I'm going to have some time to do that today as I take my car in for service here. So I'll absolutely be able to do that. Also, really quickly here, Light. This, I think, closing order. So Light pulling back. We've talked about these stocks being an absolute monster here. Unusual option trade here. These were the June contracts, the 500 calls. 100 of them, I think, sold 2.37 million. So I think these were deep in the money calls from the huge run here. Gains are being taken on that. Registering to whoever just booked 2.3 mil on their trade. Was that you, Kathy? I love you guys. My grandkids call me Uma. Okay, like Thurman, like the actress. That's what we'll do.
Is your husband's name Bill?
Now that would be something. Wouldn't that be something? Okay, Google on the relative volume scanner. Looks like that's trying to bounce here a little bit. Market, no bounce yet. That SPY future, or excuse me, S&P futures still look like they're trying to print the VWAP. Would love to see a hold there. Ticks in the positive, but it's come up off the high, or it's come down from the high, excuse me. And the momentum trend on the 1 minute for SPY is choppy, and on the 15 minute for the ES is still choppy. So I don't think there's a whole lot we can take from that yet.
Yeah, I still think that this is coming in a little bit more. Google. I don't remember exactly what level I said last week, but let me see here. I think I could just do this, and yeah, it looks like I would kind of lean on 250 as being a potential area of support. I mean, we are super. I don't want to say super oversold, but we are really oversold in Google right now. So there should be some kind of support coming, I would say, pretty soon.
Optical names very weak in general. Jay, let me ask you, do you think this represents a buying opportunity? Do you think that's probably profit taking on some of the outsized runs that the optical names have seen? Let me know. Let me know.
Looks like
Lion says, I said, sell this pop, got to go cut the grass. Lion, I have to know. Inquiring minds have to know. Do you have one of those badass riding lawnmowers? And furthermore, when you're out on your riding lawnmower, providing you have one, do you also have a beer in the cup holder? Because that's always a big laugh whenever I see that around where I live. Sorry, 13. I'm sure you were trying to say something serious.
Greenland recovering. We're off the lows, and we're kind of sideways right now. I don't know if we're going to, necessarily start to, recapture some of these higher EMAs. We are trading above the 65 right now, but we're still in this candle. It looks like we're trying to come up to 10. I don't know what's if we're gonna get rejected up there or not, but that's looking like where we're headed.
All right, Lion says yes, Ryan. So I'm going to assume he's saying yes to both the riding lawnmower and the beer on the riding lawnmower. That's something else. Kelly's husband's name is Billy. Let's go.
Hilarious.
Let's go. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. S&P futures. Okay, that's coming into the VWAP. Let's see if we hold this, maybe overshoot it and recapture. We'll see if we get a bounce. There's been absolutely no bounce attempt so far on SPY. So if you're going to try for that, do it with your own risk. We have not seen the strength yet on that. Not yet. Fairchild, pro tip for all of you, beer gets too shaken up on the riding lawnmower. That's why you need your right side stabilization arm, aka your right arm, to hold it so it doesn't get shaken up.
You're not drinking it fast enough.
Jay, thank you for answering here. I'd asked you about a possible buying opportunity on some of the optical names like Light, CN, and AAOI. Jay here saying, tough call on those names. I'm seeing some laggards acting better than leaders. Okay, so we want to wait then until that maybe shows some more strength or until those become laggards. It also gets grass in the beer. As you guys can tell, I've never been blessed to use a riding lawnmower. I've only had one of the push mowers, which I like because it's exercise. No beer for me when I'm mowing the grass, though.
It's a dream. It really is. Greenland GLND doing much better now. Coming up to the trend line that we drew.
Dude, we are getting lawn mowing tips. Marty mows 3.5 acres. The John Deere gets it done. Okay, S&P futures. We are at the VWAP right now. This might be your first possible bounce spot. But again, the market has not shown us that it's willing to do that yet. So it's a spot. We don't know that that's going to happen. NBIS looks like the sell-off has maybe slowed down a little bit. Apple kind of holding 247. And W holding higher here by 5.5%, Jay, on the back of that insider buy.
Kelly, your story just keeps getting better and better. All right, I'm going to look and see what else is happening here. It looks like Ugrow wants to try for that 23 area again.
Looks like I just saw ASTC flash on and off the scanner here. Yep, this one also up to the pre-market resistance area.
Yep, we also have a trend with this one that it could run up to.
I have 5 acres to mow. Oh, man, that must be fun. That must be fun. BFRG pulled back off its high after that halt.
And Greenland is halted now. We could see a situation where after this on halts, we get a pop up to the trend line. I don't know if it'll capture it, but that's.
Oh, you know what? Let me re-add that trend line here. We did that from the pre-market on Friday, right? That was our origin point.
Yes. Well, actually, the after the pre-market. Yeah.
Yep, and that's going to be right in here. That gives us the target. There we go. Perfect, 13. I just want to make sure I duplicated that one correctly.
And I think here we go with Ugro. Looking, it's at the 23s now, looking for that trend line. And just about to touch it.
Elab trying to recapture its VWAP. I don't know if I trust this bounce. Hello, Kayla. And JJ saying Brett Favre loves to cut grass. Do yourself a favor, like cutting your grass, like Brett Favre. I'm just pronouncing his name the way it's spelled. I don't know what to tell you.
No, I'm not laughing at that. I just never knew Brett Favre for being a grass cutter.
Me either, but you learn something every day around these parts, 13.
Okay, so Ugro, I think it's just so close to tapping that trend line that we drew. Maybe I don't know if you drew. I just started from the high from this morning after we opened the pre-market high right out of the gate at 4:15 there, and I drew it up through the high at 7:15, and now we're about to test it.
Real quick here, S&P, it was flirting with an attempt to bounce from its VWAP, but it does not look confident in its ability to do that. I have got 0 buy indicators from my SPY 0 DTE call buying indicator. I've gotten 0 signals. I keep mixing up signals and indicators. I'll try to keep it getting better.
Super is asking where we see levels for Fastly. I will pull that up and tell you. So I was just keeping an eye on Ugro because I want to see if we're going to get a rejection up at this trend line. It looks like it's going to get we were just a few cents away from 24, so we may have gotten as high as we're going to see it, but I hold out hope for that one little pop that takes us up to that 24 print. But even if it doesn't get it, no big deal. It's been a great move here for Ugro. All right, Fastly. Oh, that thing has just kind of been riding this 20-month or 20-day SMA, hasn't it? Let's see here. 25 looks like a pretty standout spot. I also like 20. It seems like 2250 could be an area, maybe 22 exactly. Maybe. So I think I would just lean on that. Here's the levels that I would have. I would say 18, 20, 22, and 25 would be the next support areas I see to the downside. And we could go through all those. I think the strongest one right now is going to be that 20-day SMA. So if we lose that, then it seems like the 15 could be a real possibility. Let me see if I see anything else here. Moving averages are much lower.
Let me know when you're done with Fastly.
Okay. I mean, I think I would just kind of lean on that right now, those levels that I gave. I don't know exactly where the bottom's going to be, but those are the next 4 support areas to the downside.
Okay, real quick here, Reginald, talking about XOM. Did I put the wrong ticker in? I put ZOM in, the 13, that's my fault. So here's XOM. This is actually higher here by 2.25%. This looks like it did try to come in towards its VWAP here. This also tested a fair market gap area. So I'm thinking this actually might bounce from here on XOM.
Greenland opened and halted, and it went right to the trend line. And now it's backing off. Yeah, GLND. Yep. And then Ugro, we got our 24. Was it Ugro? Yeah, we got our 24 print exactly. So that's so there's that now. Whatever this does, maybe it goes higher, maybe it comes back down to beam up. I don't know, but that was the whole thing. There was hitting 24.
Lion, take care of yourself. Enjoy mowing the lawn. I don't know if it's possible, but I'd like to see pictures. I like a freshly mowed lawn. I'm like that. I don't know what to say.
ELAB, this thing is losing the 65 EMA. So after hitting 488 out of the gate there, this is just giving back pretty much the entire move after the consolidation.
Okay, here's ELAB. That looks really weak to your point, 13. That actually looks like it wants to test a lower area.
ASTC, about 20 minutes ago, it popped, or maybe more like 15 minutes ago, it popped over the VWAP, and now it's getting it as support. If this continues to hold VWAP, I think we could see some higher prints. Looks like Hollow gave everything back. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I actually have, now that we have this impulse move on ASTC, this actually gives us a trend line to maybe shoot for. We'll see if we get that.
MKGW, this thing hasn't really done a whole lot except halt. So we only have 2 halts today. I mentioned it earlier when we, it was like toward the opening of the market when it was halted. It unhalted and popped up and halted again. The high is now 776. Trade this if you want, but getting some good moves there right now. SPY, not a single green candle on the 5-minute chart right now. Continues to go lower.
You're absolutely right. And 13, that test of the S&P futures at VWAP totally failed. It showed no signs of bounce. I got no signals for an upside trade. I'm just letting it come in here. Joe here saying, suppose the war ends today, oil prices will obviously drop, but what about natural gas? You think the market is now pricing in more destruction? I think what the market is pricing in is uncertainty, and it just has no idea when this is actually going to be resolved, partly because the market's not really buying some of the comments anymore. Now, to your other question here about LNG or excuse me, natural gas, to me, that is really going to be affected by actual Hormuz traffic, right? You're right. The headline, especially if the market believes it, that's going to cause it to drop. But the more significant move is going to depend on what's actually happening through the strait. And that goes for oil and LNG or natural gas.
Everything just looked like they started to pull all of a sudden. Like there's a pull that suddenly just happened. It looks like MKDW also unhalted and popped up to 9 and now is selling. Anyway, okay, so I don't know what that was about, but that seemed to happen all at once for the entire market.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, just from looking at the chart, it looks like an orderly move down here. 20 minutes ago, we had Besant saying any supply will be helpful. I don't think that's what's moving it here. 13, it looks like this is just kind of an orderly move down. Oil still holding higher here, 2 3/4%. VIX climbing back above 30 today. I suppose that's notable.
You know, Joe, I don't know that oil and natural gas are necessarily going to trade the same, because that's natural gas more of a refined product, and I think the refined products are going to be the ones that may remain higher priced. Oil will probably drop because we still have significant means of oil extraction and transportation, but I think
it's the refining issue
it's the refinement is the bottleneck. Yeah. So I think that's where the problem is. You just probably see crude, prices weaken, but refined products, I think, will maybe stick around, maybe even rise.
Reginald, let me know. Do you think we bounce here? I'll actually draw the fair value gap that's on here, but you were bringing up XOM earlier. Looks like, ooh, you shifted on me right when I pressed the button. That is a nasty trick there. Here's your fair value gap. So we basically just breached it. You think we bounce up towards 176 on this? This was a good mention. I know that you said you were taking the elevator down. What do you think about this bounce? XOM.
Looks like Greenland's still trying to get over that trend line. It's back up to it right now. Hugo grows at Friday's high. We still got a ways to go to get back up there. Now, if we're looking at the regular session for Friday's high, that's going to be 28.30. We're still trading at 20 in the 22s right now. We got a little ways to go.
Here's your Ugro chart.
Yeah. ASTC.
XOM calls getting bought, by the way, just because we were just looking at that. Which one?
I was looking at ASTC, one of the movers from this morning. It had a drop beneath VWAP and came right back up. I'm trying to find something that looks like it's got some decent volume or a setup, and I'm not really, unless you're looking at Greenland, which just put in a new high. Not a whole lot to choose from. Maybe there is some turning around here happening with some of the names, but we're going to need a little bit more time to see if that's what's actually happening. Greenland just popped up to 1238 and came right back in. Yeah, Greenland has been great this morning. But it's not one that I really want to touch. Like I said, it's a new issue. Don't know enough about it. It's done nothing really but go down. Maybe we have a good morning here, and then it continues its treks further south. I don't know. SGML, this thing was trying to hold above VWAP, but we didn't get the volume that we needed to take it higher. So now we are trading back down towards that consolidation.
Okay, Reginald jumped out of XOM. Okay, let me know what you think. It did see some call buying for it, but you're right. This thing looks like it tried to bounce there. Really cannot stay above its VWAP. GP says, I like Oxy a little bit more. Okay. Do I think the market is waiting on the Fed? Not as much as I think it's waiting on the stuff out of the conflict. I think the Fed is probably at least somewhat on hold until the middle of the year.
We just got a new high print in Ugro, 2448 now, still tapping the trend line, trying to push over it. I think I was, somebody was asking me about one stock earlier. Sorry, I missed it. Don't remember what it was. AA.
I'm sure I was going to say, I'm sure if they want to see it, you'll get it again. Wow, look at Ugro, 13. Bang, 25.
Let me see here. So Billy, AA Alcoa, that's moving on concerns that it's going to create shortages of metal with this Strait of Hormuz issue. The other interesting thing about Alcoa is that a lot of their smelting sites are being converted to data centers. Ugro is moving. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Resolve AI tried to bounce. That looks like it's going to retest that low, though.
Greenland coming back into the trend line now, going to test it as support. And looks like SPY trying to turn around here.
Yeah, still haven't got a buy signal on it, though. Just throwing that out there.
And I'm not sure that you will. It looks like 637 could be a tough area for this price to recapture.
XOM just trying to trade sideways above that fair value gap there. But Reginald, I don't know that this has a clear signal on that. Still feels a little heavy to the upside.
Oh, that's a good point, Joe. Let's look and see if we can find other, aluminum smelting names.
NBIS continuing to pull, by the way, 94. Ondas continuing to pull 828.
So you've got CNX, CENX, KALU, Rio Tinto. We know about that one. Constellium, CSTM. Those are all some names that we could see move here. Let's take a look.
Also, really quick, 13. In less than 30 minutes, we are expecting Powell to start his remarks for the day. I don't know that we're expecting anything, but that's coming here.
Are you going to say goodbye?
Why do you keep calling Ryan Joe? I don't think I understand.
All these names are up here. But it looks like AA and CENX up the most for your aluminum names. So here, I will post those for you.
I don't know what you're saying, Brent. You're not making complete sentences and I'm having a tough time following you. Who has said what 3 times? XOM, maybe we're popping here. Maybe we're popping here. The fair value gap is going to work again. Thank you, 13, for posting that in the chat.
Oh.
No,
was that alcohol?
Joe's in the chat. Joe, this guy right here. Him and 13 are having a conversation, so that's why he keeps calling him Joe, because that's his name.
Yeah, I'm not calling Ryan Joe. I'm calling Joe Schmo Joe. And it's funny because Billy was mentioning AA, which is Alcoa aluminum, and then Joe came up with a comment about if the market keeps dying, the other AA will also see more business. And immediately I just went right back to Alcoa. So that's where the confusion was. There was something else I just saw here. Riot and Mara now operating at old Alcoa site in Central Texas. So you also have I think Bitmine or BitDeer or something like that is also at the same facility. But yes, there's like I've got a list of names, and I even think I looked them up on Google Maps about where they all are. But yeah, they do have some of these old aluminum smelting sites converted into data centers.
Really quick, 13. Interesting, unusual option trade here. These are for the September 2027 expiry. The ticker is SNOW, SNOW. They're buying the 160 calls that expire September of 2027. They bought 1,000 contracts, paid $4.45 million for that. Looks like a pretty big leap trade there. SNOW, Snowflake.
Well, I mean, we're right back to where we were last year. So, I mean, it's kind of like we reset in snow.
And so maybe that's a long-term dip. I don't know.
Probably. I mean, like I said, here we are. We're about to approach April, and we're trading in the April real body from last year. So we could be getting ready to go higher in the later on this year in Snowflake, but I'm just looking at a monthly chart right now. We're losing EMAs. I'm sorry.
And that just stood out to me because that is outsized and kind of against what we're getting here. I mean, I know the market is, it stopped selling off and it's trying to bounce here, but just looking at this on the S&P futures, we're basically right back at VWAP and we do not have the strength to break higher. I don't know that this bounce is necessarily going to continue.
AMPX.
I still don't have an indicator. I still don't have a signal for a call buy. Sorry. AMPX?
Yeah, it's just getting a mention from Ed Edwards saying AMPX is pulling back. Yeah, I mean, this thing has had a pretty good run here. Let's see, how did this actually go to 1976 before we started pulling? Looks like there could be some support coming around 14. That might represent a good buying spot. We'll see what the price does when we get down there, but that's what I'd be looking at is 14.
13, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, and I apologize if I haven't, but just kind of another reminder to the group and to you. We do have a shortened week this week with Good Friday being Friday, but also next week we are going to have a shortened week for the show. Next week, the 8th, 9th, and 10th, which is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will not be running a morning show. Me and the producer have a company-wide meeting that we need to attend, so we will not be able to put on the morning show. So you're going to get 3 days off next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Oh, dear Lord. What are we going to do with ourselves, folks?
I don't know. I was going to say that my suggestion is that you all start a Benzinga Pro trial and join Joe 13 in the happy hour room. That would be my suggestion. Give it a shot, as they say.
I'll be able to post stuff in there too. So I'll be like, hey, I'm looking at this chart and I see this and here's what it looks like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will keep reminding the group about that as we get closer to it, but I just want to give you as much time to prepare as possible. And looking ahead later in the year, just so you folks know, we're going to try and minimize the downtime of the show. So 13, myself, and the producer are all going to try to take time off at the same time as to minimize the amount of time that we cannot put on a show for you. So don't worry.
RBNE, Robin Energy. This having a good morning here. This just popped out of consolidation, and there's another company that's kind of setting up a similar price action. ANNA, ANNA. This looks like it's about to do something quite similar as Robin. We had a big move out of the gate, started consolidating, and then Robin broke out of that consolidation. If we get that same kind of volume with ANNA, we're gonna we'll break over, what is this, like 940. So something that could potentially happen here. Just watch ANNA, see if we get that volume in expansion. Are drinks included at happy hour?
If you bring them, 13 occasionally brings his own drink.
Yeah, I have to bring mine sometimes. We'll have a sip together.
You gotta step it up to sip with 13 though. He sips on the good stuff. The good stuff. 13. I don't know about you, but I am hurting for opportunities here. The S&P futures are trying to cross above the VWAP here, so that's good. I don't know if I trust it. SPY's not yet at the VWAP. As far as some of our movers here, we've had some that have produced an opportunity. Maybe BFRG gives us another move. I don't feel great about it, but I don't see setups.
ASTC, this might go here. If we get some volume expansion, it's trying to take out the high of the regular session here, and if we get that, then we'll be coming up to the trend line that we drew.
Which one is this? Sorry,
ASTC.
ASTC. That's what I thought you said.
I think really what this needs is just a little bit more volume here, and we could some more volume expansion. We could see this climb. I guess the next resistance would be around 375. So. That'd be something we could see here if we just got a little bit more volume.
XOM, more repeat call buying here, but gosh, it cannot continue. It's just really struggling to move higher. TSM looks like there's a call buy here, 330, 2.1 million. Those calls expire in June this year.
UGRO continues to go. This is now coming up to Friday's high. We're approaching that. That pre-market. Let's see. That print was. I think we said it earlier. It's 2830. And we were saying it still had a ways to go. It's getting up there. It's climbing. It's not too far away anymore. Not too far away anymore now. Go sell app. Amanda giving a trade here with app.
Amanda gives trades. We're excited to have her back. Feast on the trades.
Looks like Greenland party might be over here. We had a big pop up to 1280, and now we are kind of giving it back here. First red, I'm sorry, not the first red, second red candle of the regular session, pulled it back down beneath the VWAP. Looks like ASTC is trying to push, getting a little bit more of that volume, trying to go to 375. Are we going to get it? Are we going to get it? There it is.
So, NVIDIA, Reggie,
not quite.
NVIDIA really testing this 666 area, huh? I think if we sell off again, this would be worth watching for a breakdown. I do see both calls and puts getting bought here on NVIDIA. Can't really discern in one direction or another. ASTC, Brent's all over it. ASTC through the trend line now only temporarily. I'd like to see a bigger break through this trend line.
Yeah, I didn't quite get up to 375, and it looks like there's some more sellers stepping in, but the volume does look like it's expanding.
Dude, that red-winged blackbird just snatched the chain from this other bird. He literally took a worm out of his mouth. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Sorry about that. It was not related to the market, but then that was distracting. He just took his chain.
You got robbery happening right outside his window.
Man, Autobahn robbery out here. Crazy.
There's 375 ASTC still kind of holding up here, but need to see better volume, and then we could get to that trend line. We've got a bit of a different trend line here with ASTC. I drew this.
Look at this go though.
So the line I've got here is from the after hours on Friday, starting at 5:30. that high, and I drew through the highs of the pre-market.
Amanda says he's probably a Bears fan, and that's typical. Yeah, going and snatching the division, much like snatching the chain. That's right, Amanda. Probably is. All right. Anyway, ASTC 4 test coming here.
Yep.
This was a good call, by the way, on that little pullback to that 15 EMA. I didn't trade this one, but man, oh man.
Right through 4 up to 410. Getting that volume now. And we're almost to that trend line. It looks like they get it in this current candle.
Which Look at the move through 4. Oh,
we're gonna come up to about 445, 450. It looks like, and hit that trend line. All right. So that's
still no great sign here on the broader market. I definitely don't trust this bounce yet at all. And I still don't have a signal for a potential 0 DTE call buy either. In fact, if it can't get above the VWAP, now that I'm thinking about it, if SPY can't get above 637.20 soon, you might actually roll over and retest some of those lows. Then you could play 0 DTE puts.
ASTC is going to halt. It went up to the trend line.
451. Wow. Another register ring for anyone that was on ASTC here today.
You got to draw the trend line for me now.
Okay, what am I doing?
So you start with that 530 high from Friday. Well, you just had it on your screen. There you go. The 530 high. There you go. Draw through the highs of the pre-market.
I gotcha.
There it was.
Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me. Marionette, take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at the whole time here was that particular target. And
man, it went right to it, dude.
Yeah. So now I don't know where this is going next, because I mean, we have to look at a larger time frame to see where the levels are from here. I mean, we're at okay, so 475 might be the next big resistance area. That's going to be the bottom of the sideways price action that we were getting in 2025 before we lost that level in October. So that's probably where that whole resistance starts, from about 475 to 520, just that range there. That might be the whole area of resistance that we're going to see the price get rejected at. Anyway, but yeah, Big Hurt, you're absolutely killing the trading here. I wouldn't worry if you're not staying in this too long or getting out early. I think it's much better to get out early than to get out late when it's pulling. So, I know it sucks to not be in it when it's running like this, but I still think you're absolutely killing it with these trades, dude.
Big Hurt had his coffee and his Wheaties before the sun came up here today.
Yeah. You're winning and you're winning and you're winning. All right, let's see here. What's next? Greenland kind of consolidating right now, but not breaking down. We did have a print underneath the VWAP, but we've since recaptured it. We're still above the trend line. Let's see if this can hold above VWAP. If we get some more volume expansion, then we might see higher than 1280.
What was the ticker on that again? God, I don't see it on my list.
GLND.
GLND. I had GR. Reggie, good move on exiting XOM. We are basically almost at the bottom of the fair value gap. This was a good move into the fair value gap as well. So I would say if we breach 173.35 to the downside, you can chalk this. Maybe we see a bounce, but I'd wait for that to confirm. I don't need to bottom ticket.
ELAB, ever since we've hit 488 and sold off, we've come down to the 65 EMA, and it's been getting support there. We're turning around, trying to recapture. We're moving back up to VWAP right now. If this manages to recapture VWAP, we might see some continued upside here with this stock.
Okay, this actually, of all of the stocks, 13, perhaps this one's the best possible setup.
We'll see. I mean, the volume
fair.
is something that is to be desired, but it's getting some pretty good support from the 65 EMA, so that's why it's got my attention.
And it's a curl through the VWAP right here. So if you're scalping it, I mean, and now just kind of looking at this chart, right? If we break above this area here, what, 390, 391? Maybe you juice it a little bit more.
Looks like that bounce that we were getting in the broader market, short-lived, not able to recapture VWAP on a smaller time frame. As a matter of fact, we went right to the bottom area of the consolidation in the pre-market and got rejected there, and now we're headed lower. It looks like we could end up coming down to 633 again. Like
haven't trusted the bounce all day. By the way, back-to-back sweeps here. TSM. These are the January 2028 contract. So definitely some leap call buying here. These are the 500s for January of 2028. 2 sweeps. Traders spent about 1.6 million between the 2 sweeps. So I'll tell you what, we actually are starting to see some outsized option positioning in the future on the call side today. I don't know. I'm not following any of these, at least not yet, but that's what I'm seeing here.
I'm just also keeping an eye on Netflix because I'm still maintaining that they're going to have some content problems, and they just raised their subscription again to pay for the content they don't have. So I'm not really sure I'm liking Netflix right now. It looks to me like this could still head lower.
You know what they do have? Netflix has The Last Dance, which is one of the best series ever. Not that that's going to necessarily move the needle here, but just saying. One of the best documentary series of all time.
I don't disagree. I watched that whole thing. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. I put it on just sometimes for positive energy just in the background so I can feed off excellence. 13's like, I don't even know what to make of this guy here on a Monday. He's out of his mind.
Hey, Reginald, it's... I'm sorry. The producer had a really good comment that made me laugh there. So Reginald, yeah, if it feels like walking away would preserve your capital, it's probably going to be the best decision. I walk away from trading frequently when I don't see anything set up, or if I have a bad trade, it's not working out. I just all right, that's my loss for the day. I'm going to be done and not risk anymore and come back fresh tomorrow. It's probably one of the best things you could do. But yeah, walk away if nothing's looking good. Preserve that capital. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll find some better stuff to trade.
The SPY here, I think a lot is going to depend. If we get any type of upside move, a lot is going to depend on the VWAP here. I just don't know. Brent, take care of yourself.
Yep. Take care. Big hurt.
They have Seinfeld too, just passing through. You're right about that. Anything that's got Seinfeld. He makes an appearance in The Last Dance too, by the way. Tells the team that a play on the chalkboard is not going to work, which is just mildly amusing.
Looks like some stocks are kind of setting up to make another move higher.
Yeah. And now looking at the ES here, it looks like it is trying to recapture the VWAP. Now that chart has kind of a choppy trend, choppy regime here. It's also choppy on the 1 minute. Still don't feel great about it, but it's trying. Something to watch.
ASTC, this, we halted into that 451 print, and now we've unhalted and started selling. We are getting some support from that 710 pre-market high. We just went down to that price, and the current price action kind of bounced from there. So waiting to see if this ends up turning around. If we do get a turnaround, I think we're going to burst back up through this trend line again.
All right, 13, just a couple of minutes left here. I'll tell you what, I was hoping for, I have a lot of energy after this weekend, and I was hoping that there was going to be more opportunity here. I don't see a whole lot. Shout out to everyone who hit ASTC. That was good. I just don't see a whole lot here.
And it looks like we're getting a little bit of the move I'm thinking we might get here. just needs a little bit more volume. We need the same kind of volume we got like 15 minutes ago when it took us up to 451. But so far it looks like that support area is held up. I just don't know if it's got enough volume to keep it up here. All right, let's see what else looks good besides that one. Greenland, I don't know. Maybe not that one.
Dude, look at ASTC, went right to your trend line and stopped there. I mean, that is just.
Yeah. And that's when I was just talking about.
Like, yeah, no problem.
no. I was just talking about that one because since we hit that trend line and we backed off from it, we went down to the pre-market high of at 710, and we got support there. Now we're turning around and trying to come back up to this trend line again. And if this volume continues, we may end up getting a breakthrough that 451 area. Here come the sellers now.
I'll tell you, none of these bigger stocks look good for a swing either. Like, I don't see any good swing entry here. We don't have Izzy today. Amazon's pretty much locked in a tight range.
Yeah, and Amazon was getting some news about how good what is that? Project Hail Mary has been performing at the box office. So,
I do want to see that, but I'm probably going to wait it out till it's on Prime.
Even my kids have been asking to see that, which is surprising. But
Hachi, thanks for your support. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, we really appreciate this.
Grow still hanging in there. This thing has got quite a spread to it, so be careful if you're going to trade this one. And still waiting.
Producer's asking me if I've ever watched Peaky Blinders, and I have not. Oh. But I have heard so much good stuff from the local sports radio station here.
I need to watch that because I've seen clips, and it's got some really a lot of actors I like in it. Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy. I gotta watch that.
Okay, yeah, Cillian Murphy is really good. So, okay, cool. It's good recommendation there. Microsoft, this chart actually, we talked about this at the outset. This actually looks like it's trying to go higher versus a market that's not cooperating with higher prices, at least not so far. Microsoft actually looks pretty strong here today. 13, we're out of time for Monday here today. This is a decent start to the Monday. Do you have any closing words for the group, however?
We just got new high prints in ASTC. This is the one I was just talking about. Anyway. So that's trying to push over the trend line anyway. Maybe there's more to be had with this one. Good luck trading it. But aside from that, it's been a fun morning despite not really finding a whole lot to trade. Some things we were able to trade, and some things we weren't. But ASTC is one of the ones that we are trading, and it's performing really well. So, folks, if you didn't have any trades, come back here tomorrow. We'll find some more stuff. Preserve that capital, and I'll see you then. Have a good day, everybody. Take care.
Yep. Really good stuff, 13. We will see you later and see you on Happy Hour later. Folks, the producer has spoken by orders of the Peaky Blinders. We're going to see you back here tomorrow. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. We will see you tomorrow. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll catch you tomorrow.